Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Welcome in. Barrett's the only one not I don't know if you could call what I'm doing dancing.
Yo, listen, Rob, what the heck you doing?
I was voguing. Come on, Vogue.
Come on, man.
That's what I was doing.
In the world?
Madonna, circa 1990, whatever that was.
Hey.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. What were you doing?
Huh? Make you strike a pose.
Strike a
Come on,
pose.
man.
Come on, man. Strike a pose. That's what you gotta do.
Straight up Madonna, man. Come on, man. What
By
in the
way,
world?
The years haven't been kind to
who?
To Madge, to
I thought you
Madonna.
meant me. Oh, okay.
No, you're still a handsome fella. So is Barrett.
She kind of like she needs to be front. She should be a front singer for Rolling Stones now.
She's done a lot.
Looking.
There's a lot of
Hold on,
work
man.
that's been done there.
Hold
I
on,
don't know
hold
if
up.
it's good work.
Madonna still looks good, man. Hold up.
Ooh. I question.
All
You're
right.
looking good.
Hey, first of all, hi everybody. He is Barrett. He's Derek Gunn. I'm Rob Ellis. Hi, we're Sports Steak. Hi.
Hey,
Hi,
Mama
Mrs.
Brooks.
There she is. All right, so if you want to jump in on the comment section on Madonna, feel free. No, now I understand that you're having some technological issues, Gunner. What's the problem? What is happening?
Man,
Do we need to go over there and straighten this out?
Yeah. First of all, I want to go on record as saying that I am technology illiterate. But when it comes to getting on computers and syncing watches and phones and all this stuff, thank goodness I have a wife and son and daughter who live here, and a son-in-law who can get me through these troublesome times, man. But for all the good modern technology does, there are times when you just want to take him and beat him over the head. Prime example. So a couple of years ago, when my 3-year-old grandson was like 1 year old, he used to like to sit there and fidget with your watch and stuff. So he locked my son-in-law, who is an IT guy for a mortgage company. He locked him out of his watch for a couple of days, and I'm laughing, So recently, we're babysitting my 10-month-old granddaughter, and she loves to fidget with the watch, and she changes the settings. I'm like, what in the world is she doing? So she locked me out. So I got to wait and have somebody help me get back in my watch here. And then we have these things. We have Alexis and Google.
You're right.
Google in my house, right?
Yeah.
Now,
AKA
I don't want
Big Brother. Big Brother.
I don't want him in my house. And here's the reason why. When Alexa first came out, there's a story that came out about, when they first came out, people are buying them like crazy. So there's this story that came out about this couple was in their kitchen talking about some friends of theirs, another couple.
Oh, no.
And Alexa picked up on the name and called the couple that they were talking about. But the couple that was talking about them didn't know it. So they're sitting there talking about their friends. Needless to say, they realized that somebody else on the other line was listening in. And I don't know what happened to the relationship beyond that. But see, in my house, my kids and my wife, all this technology. And so we have Alexa in one part of the house and Google Chrome downstairs.
Yeah.
And
Google Play.
Google Play. So my one son-in-law who lives here, he's from Mexico, so he speaks fluent Spanish. My wife speaks fluent Spanish, so a lot of times he has it set up in Spanish.
What do you speak fluently in?
Gibberish. I speak gibberish.
Nonsense. Yes.
I make up. D-Gun make up his own language.
There it is. There it is. Third person.
So there are a lot of times.
12:05. We got to
right.
So there's a lot of times when you're just walking around and Google starts speaking in Spanish or English. You never know. You didn't ask it to do anything. It just starts. It picks up on a word, and all of a sudden it starts talking. And I'm like, hey, somebody come here and tell me what this thing is saying.
Well, I get sorry, I don't understand that command. I'm like, I wasn't talking to you. I don't know where. Like, she just chimes in out of nowhere. Alexa does.
Dude, even my watch does it. My watch will start talking. I'm like, okay, so we got to be extremely careful what you say and who you say it about because you just don't know, man.
Amen.
Bro, I'm sitting down and I actually have a refrigerator, that has Alexas in it. You can like see through it, and you can see what's in the refrigerator, or you could make a Alexa, make this laundry list, or make a laundry list. Food list or whatever,
Right.
things I need. It does all that stuff. Well, long story long, downstairs, and I'm watching. No, it was on Sunday. I'm watching F1 racing, and an Alexa commercial comes on, and it says, "Hello, Alexa," whatever it was, and it was talking to the TV. The refrigerator started talking. So the TV is talking to the refrigerator, and they started like going back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Talking. So I mean, yeah, I feel it, man. I don't want that to happen, man, because sometimes when I talk to myself about you, Derek,
what
Alexis might pick that up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, see? Hey, look here. Look, Jeremiah said y'all just triggered by Alexa.
But there's some things like my watch here.
Yeah.
I got
you're double watching today.
You know why I got this?
Because he rich? Because he rich?
No, had nothing to do with that. This is like one of those jogger watches and everything.
Yeah.
But I went to the doctor like maybe 8 months ago, and I was borderline high blood pressure. I was like, I went in, I was 132.
Oh.
Yeah, I was 132 over something like 78 or 80 or something. So, I mean, I'm like, yo. So I bought the watch, and the watch will tell me what my blood pressure is.
Okay.
So I actually did an experiment last week on when I'm on a show with you, what my blood pressure was like. And it was all right.
What?
It was all right. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
What?
My blood pressure.
What?
It's normal now. My blood pressure is normal now.
Yeah.
But you sometimes get my blood pressure up.
Right? As the show goes on,
Right.
If we start hearing that, we start seeing Barrett's watch go, we'll know something's up.
There's nothing normal about you, Barrett. I mean, let's come to the realization. There's absolutely nothing normal about you. Anybody who says stuff like and make a long story long.
Right.
Look
at my boy Tony.
What did he say? Where's Tony? Oh, good morning, boys. Can you shut the fan off so we can go fishing? Oh, wow.
That's not right, man.
Let's go, man. Let's go fishing.
Wow.
Well, I the other thing is you can like compliment Alexa, and she'll be like, "Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that today."
No, here's the kid in me. Sometimes, like when I first got one of these smartphones, I would ask it stupid questions like, "Is Barrett a criminal?" Just to see what it would say, and it would say stuff like, "I don't know, but I'll check on that now."
Mm-hmm.
I can't even tell you some of the questions.
Be digging deep, bro. Don't be digging deep.
Yeah, don't ask questions that you don't know you don't want the answers to. Okay.
Oh no, I want the answers. I'm just curious because inquiring minds need to know.
Yeah.
Well, I want the
We like having the 3-man show with Sports Take. We don't want it to be a 2-man
right.
show.
But here's the funniest thing. Years ago, when Apple Watch first became popular, I had Apple III, one of the first watches that came out. And this was after I told my wife, I said, I don't want one of these watches. I don't want it. Just like I told her, I didn't want to upgrade from a flip phone to a smartphone.
You're still on a rotary phone.
Dude, I'm telling you, my wife, when she first bought me my first smartphone, which was Apple IV, when the 4 came out.
Yep.
So we're standing in Best Buy, and we're going to surprise the kids and get them phones phones or watches for Christmas.
Yeah.
And so while we're there, she goes, you and I should, she had a I forgot what you call them before the smartphones, but I had a flip phone. It had the keypad on the outside and
I like
inside,
the BlackBerry
stuff like that. Yeah,
I could type with it better.
Right.
Here's the thing.
I loved it.
It used to frustrate me because writers in the press box had already converted to a smartphone. So by the time I could type stuff out, they had already put it out on Twitter and stuff, like plays happening in the game, injuries. So I would be like 5 minutes behind, So when we first decided to get the kids Apple Watches, so we're standing in Best Buy, and my wife goes, we should get a smartphone while we're here for us. And I'm talking under my breath because I want people to know D-Gun arguing with his wife in public, right? So I'm like, I don't want a smartphone. She goes, no, really, you should get a smartphone because you can do this, this, and this. I'm like, I don't want a smartphone. So they taking so long to get our stuff processed. I said, hon, I can't stand here any longer. It's like over an hour. So I take off and I go to the TV section. When I go to Best Buy and Walmart, I'm always in the TV section. I don't know why.
Yep.
I go to TV section. I come back about 45 minutes later. She says, okay, we're done. And I said, okay. And she goes, I got you a phone. I said, I told you I didn't want a phone. So we get home with the phone, take it out. I have her and the kids help me set it up, 30 minutes later.
Years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. So
yeah, I was sitting in the office when you was crying about it when you got to
yes,
the office.
yes. I was mad as
He couldn't answer the
hornet's
phone.
nest.
He couldn't make any
Yes.
phone calls.
I was mad as
Everybody's like, all right, Grandpa, let me see it. Here we go.
So,
and you know, Amy wants to do everything. You know, Derek.
Oh,
let me see
yeah.
it, Derek.
Yeah, Derek, let me see it. So I got Amy helping me at work. I got my family helping me at home. So when I finally got the hang of this thing, a couple of days later, I come home and like, hey, did you know you can do this on this phone? My wife's like, yes, dear. Hey, did you know this? Yes, dear. I'll never go back to a flip phone again, man.
They usually know better.
But and so then,
long story short.
yeah, no. A long story long.
Yes. Yes.
So I get my first Apple Watch a few years later, right? So I'm like, I don't want this Apple Watch, you know, but she gets it for me anyway. I get this Apple Watch, and I'm trying to figure out some things, and all of a sudden I accidentally call 911.
Oh, jeez.
Now, I see the red dot saying 911, and I'm like, oh, and I'm trying to hit it to stop it. I can't get it to stop from ringing.
Oh,
All of
my
a sudden,
God.
his voice says, yes, can I help you?
Oh,
Now, I'm not saying anything because I'm still trying to hang up.
yeah.
And the voice, hello, are you there? Are you in trouble? Hello. So I finally go, Miss, I'm laughing. I'm like, Miss, I apologize. I just got this watch for a Christmas gift, and I hit the wrong button. She burst out laughing. Sir, it's okay. We have those calls every day. so I'm not the only technology illiterate person out there.
Oh my God,
Bro,
I'm bad too.
Yeah.
I'm bad. No, Barry, you're probably good because you're good at you could. You're
Not electronics and stuff, man. Like, you know, like I can remember when I was in college. Well, not in college. I just retired and I went back to school to get my master's, and I was taking statistics, and I was trying to, you know, use what is it on Word with Excel?
Yeah.
That's the worst thing in the world, man. And trying to use a computer to learn this and learn that. Computers, I hate computers, man. I hate. Then I had to teach myself how to edit. I mean, it's the worst, man. I hate computers. I'd rather go out tangible stuff that I can get my hands dirty with. You know, I want some, there's no grease I can put on this keyboard, but I can go out there and fix my car or anything else. Not these computers, bro. I hate these computers.
Let me tell you something. Even today, and I have a MacBook. I have a MacBook Pro, and I have an iPad Pro, big 13-inch screen, right? And even today, I still need help on my computer cutting and pasting. I ain't gonna lie to you. Now it's funny. It's funny because on my phone, I can cut pastes all day. I don't know why I can't get.
It should be easier on your desktop and your laptop than it should be on your phone. Yeah,
that's what they tell you. Yeah, I take a picture. I can't. When you take a picture and you email it, you can't just email it because it has to be switched to this program and that program, and you can't. I'm like, well, just print.
You know what we're like? We're all three of us are like that. The commercial where the guy with the mustache is walking these groups through when you become your parents.
Oh, dude, that's my
us.
favorite. That's Dr. Rick.
I love him. I love Dr. Rick.
He's
the greatest.
The stream will tell you I am a Dr. Rick fan.
Me too. I am too. He's the king. The best is the latest one when he pulls the thing out of the freezer. Can you tell me what this is?
Oh yeah.
And the guy's like, he's like, it's a meatball. You know.
Hey, you guys want some good news?
Yeah.
I just got confirmation that tomorrow at 12:15 to 12:30, mark it down, 12:15 to 12:30.
I'm writing.
We will have Howie Roseman on this show.
You know you got juice when you get Howie.
Howie Roseman. I just got confirmation tomorrow, 12:15 to 12:30. We will have Mr. Howie Roseman on this show.
Good work, Gunner.
Juice. You got juice, right, man.
Spread the word, folks. We will spread the word too, but spread the word. Smash the like button. Spread the word. 12:15 tomorrow. Eagles Vice President of Player Operations, Howie Roseman. Yeah, that's huge. That is huge, man.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. So I'm going to get back to one more thing.
Yes.
And I don't mean to cut you off, Rob, but while we're on this technology stuff.
Yeah.
So you know how you teach your kids, to ride a bike and things like that in life, and you get to a point where you tell them, look, I already showed you. I'm not going to show you again, okay? I already showed you how to do this, right? So, I do voiceovers and stuff, and for 97.5, and I also do my own podcast, Gun on One. So about over a year ago, when I started doing my podcast, my son would come in and help me, when I couldn't get stuff set up. So my son got me. Why you laughing, man? Why you laughing
I
at me?
can hear what your son's about to say already.
So when it comes to my wife and my daughter, anytime I yell out, 911, that means D-Gun in trouble. You better come help him, right? If something ain't right, I'm not on somehow. And they come running. I get the lecture, but they also come on. They'll come and help me. So my son pulls this on me. He goes, it's over a year ago, Dad. I know what you're doing. I said, what am I doing? He said, you just want me to do it for you every day. He goes, you know what? I'm not doing it anymore. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then you're going to have to figure it out.
Same.
I'm like, what?
I go through the same thing.
I'm like, hold up, man. I brought you in this world.
I take you out.
I clothed you. I'm still helping you pay your bills. You're 30. At that time, you're 29 years old. You're going to tell me that you're going to leave me stranded? So he said, Dad, I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to send you this text, and I want you to put it in your notes. And he gives me a chronological order step on how to go from GarageBand, because I record all my stuff on GarageBand.
Yeah.
And he gives me these steps on how to do it. And then he tells me, and then I move it to WeTransfer to send it out to wherever I need to send it out when I record stuff. And so I'm like, doggone it. He used one of my techniques on me. So in my notes, I still have them, but guess what? I can actually do it now without looking at the notes.
I'm the same way. That's what frustrates my family more than it's like we've shown you this 600 times. Like, come on, dude. Like, step your game up. And I'm the same exact. Well, like Barrett. So Gunnar and I do a podcast for the Eagles called Return Game.
Right.
And this year is going to be Dick Vermeil. It's going to be great. But we do it. The producer, her name is, believe it or not, this is her name, Buffy Gorilla.
Buffy Gorilla.
Yep. And she's phenomenal. That's her name. I swear it's her name. I'm not.
That's her name.
No joke.
That is her name.
Laugh, bro.
I'm dead serious. That's her name, and she's phenomenal at what she does.
I want to ask you. I want to ask you, Rob. Is that just your nickname, or is that your real name? But I don't want to offend her.
I know. I have to. I'll get to the bottom of it. But I got to talk to her next week. So we do this where we're recording tracks, meaning like voicing over stuff for people who may not know what that means, right? So Derek and I we have our script, and we're kind of going through things, and and it's got to be conversational. It's not just and then in 1958, it's got to sound like that.
Yes.
But it takes the longest time for him and I to even get set up where this poor woman is like a saint dealing with our crap, our nonsense, because it takes forever for us to get rolling, man. Forever. Anyway.
But see, with Rob, when Rob talks in a more natural voice. My family always tells me, Dad, when you're in public, you always go into your professional voice.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And I just think, I don't even think about it. I mean, I thought I talked the same way. And they're like, no, Dad, you talk one way at home and you talk differently when you're out in public. And I'm like, really? I didn't even thought about it. So Buffy had to bring me down off a ledge. She goes,
yes.
She goes, Gunnar. She goes, I want you to be more natural like Rob. And I'm like, I want you to be more natural like Rob. I'm like, more natural.
It's true. Barrett, he's always in like announcer mode. He's always in like anchor mode, right?
Right.
He's always like, and starting in 1936, which is great, right? It's great.
But that's not what she wants.
No, we're like having a back and forth, and then the Eagles took on the Cowboys. Remember that game and, whatever. And I can't believe what Bobby Taylor did in that game. And it's conversational as opposed to just hitting your mark all the time. And that took a little while for Gunnar to get.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
I sound like a professional Steve Urkel when they were done with me. I'm like, it's not natural, man.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So, by the way, speaking of Bobby Taylor is going to be joining us at 1:00 today. Barrett, your guy, drafted the same year as you. How about that draft?
2 second-round picks.
Wow.
2 killers right there, man. Yeah.
Mamula, me. Yep. No, Mamula, what number was he? He was 13.
They moved up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was 12. Mumu was
Mumu.
And then BT was 50, and I was 58 or 59, one of the two.
I don't know how the world
Chris
you
T.
two
Jones
get drafted behind Mike Mamula. How is that possible?
What?
He was a classic combine warrior.
Yeah, he was.
He killed.
He ran like a 4.7.
Yeah,
at the end,
everything, high jump, lift, like you name it, he did it. For sure. And here's the thing about Mamula, he was he was a decent player. He wasn't terrible. He's made out to be terrible because he went ahead of Sapp, and we could relive all that stuff. But he was okay.
Yeah,
I mean, Barrett, you played with him. He wasn't a bad player. It's just a shame he was overdrafted. Like if you got him in the 3rd round, it's a perfectly fine.
Or even a 2nd round.
Yeah, he's fine, right? But the problem was, and the people they passed on to take him.
Right. They drafted up to get him. So he was a combine workout warrior. And it was Ray Rhodes' first draft class also.
Right. Yeah.
So it was him. It was Bobby. It was myself. Christy Jones was the 3rd. 4th was Jefferson. 5th, I think, was Kevin Bowie. 6th.
Kevin Bowie.
I forget who was all in my draft. 6th, 7th. I don't know.
Let's see here. 1995. Greg Jefferson, Christy Jones, Dave Bear, Fred McCrary, Kevin Bowie, Howard Smothers.
Smo. My boy Smo.
Was he one of the Smother brothers?
Smo was a piece of Smo was from Bethune-Cookman. That was my boy.
You're right.
John Chaney's university.
Yep, Bethune-Cookman, and he was probably one of the best athletes as an offensive lineman I've ever seen. He just wasn't an offensive lineman.
Did he make the team?
Yeah, he made the team for 1 year. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So
doesn't sound like an offensive lineman name. Howard Smothers.
Smo was country as a box of cornflakes, man. he was more country than I was. Put it like that.
Yeah.
Man.
I hear you. All right, so Bobby's going to join us at 1. Keith Pompey is going to join us from Miami at 2. We got a Game 5 preview. By the way, Kyle Lowry not playing. Down with the hamstring.
Well, that was my secret weapon.
Yeah, but I was going to say here's the thing. They play better without him.
Yes, they do.
I agree with that,
which is scary, which is really scary. But
especially with the as compromise. I mean, he was really, you could tell, man. He was just dragging that leg the other night.
Yep.
That was a mess.
I wanted him to play.
All right, so we're gonna
be physical tonight, boys.
It is. It's gonna be like that Milwaukee-Boston series, which we'll talk about a little bit later. That's like straight out of the 80s and 90s. That series.
Bucks choked last night.
Yes,
man. They had that game.
I know they did at home too. On top of it, so we'll get into that. I wanted to throw this at you guys before we dive into some heavy Sixers in a little bit. The Tom Brady story. So he's actually confirmed this too. Fox has too. When he retires from playing, he is going to be the #1 color analyst for Fox. It's already been announced, which in and of itself is weird that he's still playing and that's come out and everybody had to acknowledge that. It's going to be especially weird. Not that I care one way or the other, but Greg Olson is going to be with Kevin Burkhardt. There's been big shakeups, as you remember, because Buck and Aikman have gone to Monday Night Football with ESPN.
Yep.
So Kevin Burkhardt, who we're going to get on the show, who's a real good dude, is the #1 play-by-play, and the #1 analyst is Greg Olson, former tight end. It's a weird, awkward spot for Greg Olson, knowing you're essentially probably this year it's your gig, and then you're getting demoted no matter how good or no matter what happens.
I say it's tough, man. It's almost like the whole situation with NBC, and Chris, how Collinsworth and his play-by-play, because
Al Michaels went to Amazon. Yeah. Mike Tirico's the #1 play-by-play guy now. Yeah,
but he was making more. Tirico was making more than Al was, and Al was the #1 guy there. Yeah, and here he is. I was like, how does this work? How does the dynamic work? You got Al Michaels is the guy, and you got his, Tirico is making like $2 or $3 million more than him, and he's not even. That's why they had all of those mix up as far as games and NBC this day. You got this guy. It was crazy how they were trying to balance all that out.
Yep. Yeah. I think they anticipated Al Michaels would retire. Yeah. Earlier than because Al's like 77, 78 years old. I think they thought he was just going to hang it up. And Al was like, nah, I'm going to keep going here. And Al got paid from Amazon. So that pairing is going to be Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit are going to do Thursdays for Amazon. Monday night is Buck and Aikman on ESPN.
How do I get in?
I know, man.
Just think about this. Football on Amazon now. Just think about that for a minute.
I know. It's going to be strange.
Didn't they have games last year on Prime also? Didn't they have a few games on Prime?
Yeah. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
See, the cable companies and stuff are smart. They're losing subscribers, but they're finding a way to get them back with all these primes and all this. It's like, what's next? Exactly. So if you're a football fan, now you got to make sure you have Amazon Prime.
Right. I'll tell you where it's going, Derek.
Yeah.
Soon. I don't mean next year or in the next 5 years, but soon, 10 years, 15 years, it's all going to be pay.
Yep.
It's all going to be.
I disagree, Rob. I think it's going to be sooner, to be honest.
Okay, it could be.
I think it's going to be sooner because we've talked about this and it's well known. The NFL is the smartest and richest sports conglomerate on the planet. And greediest. But you know what? When you have a product that people live and die for, they will piss and moan about it, but they'll get it.
Yep.
Because you got to have it.
Absolutely.
See, and we're the same way. What do? We talk about sports. So we have to have it. Even though it's an inconvenience and unnecessary expense, we got to have it.
No doubt. Especially this wouldn't fly with other sports. It will fly with the NFL. It will fly with the NFL.
No question.
This new league, I think this new league is going to survive also.
What this new which one? The USFL,
the Stars, and all those. Yeah,
that's USFL. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to survive, man, because there's no farm league for the NFL. They need something.
Well, and like a couple guys took advantage of that. What was it? The AFF, whatever it was, the one that Philip Walker played and a couple other guys. Like they went there and they did well, man, and it got them
Smart.
It got them jobs. It did.
Remember Smart. He hate me.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rod Smart. Yeah.
He played with the Eagles, didn't he?
That was the old XFL. That was the old XFL. He was Freddie Mitchell's cousin.
That's right.
Yes.
Hey, we got to get Freddie Mitchell on this show one day too. I'm going to get Freddie on here.
America's guest.
Just America's house guest. See what he's doing.
Yes.
And look at Jeremiah Butler over here. You should have Prime already. Yes, I have Prime, man. I'm just telling you, it's going to be part of your standard cable package in the future.
Yeah,
yes, it's coming. It's coming. Mark it down, man.
Bro, they have it now. That when you watch movies in the theater, 30 days after you watch them, I think it's 30 or 40 days afterwards.
Yes,
you can get them on TV.
100%.
You just have to order it. I mean, I ordered the other day. Mm-hmm. It's like $20, though. It's $19.99. But still, though, if you can wait 30 days, you can see it. Like Batman. I went to the theater and saw it, and then I turned back around. I was like, "Oh man, you guys can see it." So I ordered it again and watched it in my house.
Wait, you didn't have to pay for it I saw it on HBO Max. I mean, it's part of your monthly payment.
You pay for it with that.
But I didn't have to pay for it again. So I wait. I'm inclined now to wait till movies get out of the theater because it's going to be on Netflix, Prime, HBO Max. It's going to be one of them, eventually. So,
yep.
But there are some things you have to go to the movie to see. Like my daughter just informed me that the new Jurassic Park is coming out in June.
I gotta see that in there.
And see
IMAX, yeah.
Once you get to movie 7, 8, you think, okay, it's gonna be watered down. But for the special effects in it, I gotta see it. I don't want somebody to tell me about that movie. Even if I walk out the movie and say, man, that sucked. Yeah. I gotta see it for myself. I don't want somebody to tell me what went down in the movie.
I hear you. And there is something to the whole event of it and sitting down in the theater. Like, I get it. I mean,
it costs so much, though.
That's the problem. They just gouge you. And I wonder if the response to people going less and less and waiting it out is going to be lowering the ticket prices. I don't know. I doubt it.
I'll pay the, I think it was like $17 for the ticket.
It's that, and they kill you with the popcorn and everything else.
Soft pretzel, you got to pay $12
Yeah, forget that, man.
$60 easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
And see, plus they don't even use real butter anymore in theater popcorn. It's just butter oil stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, messed it up. Look, John Dickerson said D-Gun can't eat brisket in the theater. You're right. That's why I'm watching movies at home, man.
I've tried.
I can't eat brisket. I did.
You've tried.
Oh, guys, look at this though. I took remember I did that brisket.
Yes.
I took the brisket and after that first day, and I said, I put it up. I said, let me put it in the freezer. I'm gonna freeze it because we had so much. I remember I barbecued me. I smoked like 3 or 4 things.
25 pieces of meat.
Right. So I learned from it. Well, I took it out the day before. I took it out yesterday, before we got on the show. Then when I got home last night, I chopped it up into since it was hard, I chopped up into little squares, and I made chili out of it.
Ooh.
Okay. Unbelievable. Smoked brisket, chili.
Ooh.
It was amazing. I'm like, my family's like, Dad, you finally cooked something we like.
Whoa.
They were crushing it. Crushed it. So it's like that's like a new thing for me. Smoked brisket.
Good call, man.
It's expensive though, but still,
it's worth. And you get a lot of meals out of it. You can always,
yeah.
You can milk that for 3 or 4 meals.
Here's what I tell you: when you smoke meats, the flavor and the taste of smoked meats compared to roasted, fried, however you prepare them, is still good 3, 4, 5 days later.
Yep.
Compared to other meats, how you prepare them by the next day or 2 days later, man, this don't taste the same. Yeah, it's all right. You know what I mean? But something about smoked meats, slow smoked meats, man, 5 days later, you're just like, man, this is still good. It's good stuff.
Bro,
I hear that.
It was amazing. I never thought that the chili could taste like that, bro.
Yeah, man.
But when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about this Tom Brady thing, man.
Yeah, because you remember how badly he wanted to just be with his family.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's do that. We'll dive into the Sixers as well, as I mentioned. So 1 o'clock, former Eagle Bobby Taylor is going to join us. 2 o'clock, Keith Pompey is down there. Doc Rivers had some interesting things to say, by the way, about the MVP race as well. That's going to Nikola Jokic. We'll get into that. Also, a lot of ground to cover. And remember, tomorrow, 12:15, Howie Roseman.
That's
Eagles,
right. That's
VP, and the big boss.
Got it right here. Got it right here, baby.
Joining us tomorrow. We don't play around, man. D Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Media, YouTube Network. Hey, I want to let everybody know here. Trying to find the right person to trust with your finances, it can be a very scary proposition. And I'm right there in the front of the line. Trust me when I tell you that. But I can say for personal experience that someone I trust with my finances is Jim Murray, Murray, with Principal Financial Group. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, or if you have a small business and you need help with employee benefits, that's another resource that Jim can assist you with. I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollover with Jim, and I couldn't be happier. Let me tell you. Give him a call, 610-996-4751. That's 610-996-4751. Or you can email him at Murray, MURRAY.Jim@Principal, PRINCIPAL.com.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98, visit us, IBEW98.org.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
The glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, 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 and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Back on this Tuesday, Sports Take, Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, JAKIB Media YouTube Network. And again, reminder, tomorrow at 12:15, Eagles VP of Operations, the man himself, Howie Roseman, will be joining us. All right, so we mentioned this before we took a timeout, guys, but let's swing it back here for a second. So Tom Brady, who is still playing, he retired for about 13 and a half seconds and then came back, and he's back playing with the Bucs this year. We know that. But upon retirement, he will be sliding into the number one spot, the number one analyst for Fox. The reported money for this, guys, 10 years, $375 million. He will make more than $37 million per year. Man, we thought Tony Romo was making a lot of money. And by the way, Tony Romo sucks. Let me just throw that out there. This is dwarfing. He is a terrible.
I like Tony.
Analyst.
I like Tony.
The whole shtick of him calling the play, he doesn't do that anymore. He's not prepared. He sounds like a high schooler in the booth. Script. Jim, here it comes, Jim. That's what he does. He stinks.
Wait, do that again. How do you do that?
Here it comes, Jim.
It does sound like that sometimes.
Yeah, he stinks.
But I will say this.
I
will say this, though. He's very good at anticipating the play that's coming. And I think sometimes he's a little too wordy, but I think he's informative in terms of breaking down a play to show you exactly what happened. And sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, how did I miss that when it happened live? I'm not a big fan of Tony Romo, but I like some of his insights.
I think he was better before, and I'm not. Look, man. I think Aikman's a really good analyst.
You're just a hater because he played for Dallas, man. Come on, man.
I think Aikman.
Get over it, Rob. Get over it.
I actually like Joe Buck. People hate Joe Buck. I think he's excellent at any baseball or football. But getting back to the money Brady's making, guys, $37 million. $37
million a year. Come on, man.
As Chris Rock said. Good Lord, $37 million.
Well, just put it like this. I do ESPN Plus games.
Yes.
And I make nothing.
Yes. I hear you, man.
Bears on Channel Z. But you know what, B. Brooks? I will say this. We can joke, but B. Brooks, hey, Lee, you one of the chosen few getting to do it. Better you than somebody else.
Right.
You're getting the experience, and once you eliminate, certain words in your vocabulary, like make a long story long, you might get up to ESPN 1A, and then when you get rid of out, you might get up to the big ESPN. I'm
being called the devil for my Joe Buck stance.
I know, man. See,
that's rough.
You messed with the wrong dude. You messed with the wrong dude. See,
jeez,
I told you, man.
But
really, think about this for a minute.
He's hated in Philly, bro.
Well, the craziest part, the whole Brady thing was I got to spend time with my family. I just, I've done everything I can do here with football. It's time to go and, smell the roses with Giselle and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, he comes back, in 5 minutes. And then the second he's retiring, and I know this isn't as time consuming as playing football. Right, I get that. Right. So believe me, but still, you would think take a year at least where you're just, going to Brazil and traveling the world with Giselle. Nope.
Rob,
not Tom Brady, man.
Once I got that contract and it was ink, I signed it, there will be no more Tampa Bay Bucks. I'd have quit immediately.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have passed go.
I hear you.
I'd have packed my stuff in my locker and I've been gone.
Mm-hmm.
For $37 million a year?
Yep. Me
Come
too,
on,
man.
Bro, 10-year contract?
Look, I don't doubt how much he loves football. It's obvious because he could have just walked away and taken that deal. He still loves to play, obviously. But
Here I make $2,100 a game. That's what I make. I said it, yeah.
But here's the thing, guys. We were just talking about this in the last segment. Like, where is this headed ultimately with the games on Amazon and all this other stuff? If this doesn't tell you where it's headed to everything being paid for, you're not getting any more. At some point, the CBS Fox, well is going to dry up because you're paying $375 million to a color analyst, which is absurd in my opinion. But
hey, look, this man has made probably more money than anybody in the history of pro football. How would you like to be in a position where you have 7 Super Bowl rings? You will go down as probably the greatest quarterback of all time. And you got $375 million sitting there waiting for you when you start to make your transition into the real world, which is still a fantasy world to 95% of America. in terms of you walking into more money to be a color analyst. Now think about this. As a color analyst, you appear on TV maybe 22, 23 weeks,
right?
One time out of a season. And his goodwill ambassador part of this deal. How many public appearances is he going to make? I'd have Tom Brady going to every kid's party, every Fox employee. I'd have him doing all kinds of crazy stuff at $375 million, $37 million a year. I'm making sure I get my most out of it. But maybe Tom don't want to be at home. Tom like, hey, man, this babysitting stuff, hey, this ain't for me, man. We can hire 10 nannies.
Hey,
we don't need babies.
If I'm Rupert Murdoch, he'd be doing like balloon animals at my nephew's party.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he should be doing everything. Do you guys like? I don't necessarily tune in, especially for a national broadcast. Like I'm talking about football on TV, not Merrill and Mike and that kind of thing, who do an unbelievable job. But I tune in for the matchup. I don't tune in necessarily for the broadcaster. Is it that big a draw for you guys? Like, does this make sense financially? I know it's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. I get it. But I don't there isn't that same kind of appeal for me, man.
See, I tune in for a combination of the two. If I know it's a good announcing team, I'm as enamored with the announcing team as I am with the matchup itself. I mean, when you think about it, you had to watch games that John Madden was calling. Because, he was the one that started all this boom and all the boom, all this kind of stuff, like Batman. Batman stuff. And before that, when Monday Night Football was in its heyday, I wanted to see Dandy Don and Howard Cosell as much as I wanted to see the game itself because they were always taking shots at each other. And there's still a few out there now. Like when I watch hockey playoff games, who's the one guy you want to hear?
Mike Emmerich. Before he retired.
You see what I'm saying? So, there was a reason. Gus Johnson, a good example, Joey B. Good example. I want Gus Johnson to do my eulogy when I'm dead and gone. I'm serious. I want him to do my eulogy. First of all, I told my family, don't put me in a box. Don't even do that.
Oh, jeez.
Don't even waste the money. I'm being honest. Don't put me in a box.
God.
I'm thinking, man, I don't want people standing there. Look. You know what you need to do.
You're bringing us down, man. All right. Can we not talk about your funeral at this point? But what is going on here?
I want Gus Johnson to be there to do my eulogy. Now he don't even know me. I have it scripted out. I just want Gus Johnson to deliver it.
I got you. We'll make that happen. Barrett, we'll make that happen. When Gunner kicks, which probably soon, we'll make sure that Gus Johnson.
I ain't trying to hear that. I'm gonna do it.
Heck no. Because see, people would need subtitles to understand what you're saying.
Ouch.
With all the the Barry Brook-isms you come up with.
Long story long, he's dead.
See what I mean? See, and people instead of getting the effect of what he's saying, you're like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
What?
That's it.
He has a whole cult following here in our chat room daily talking about now.
I know, man.
We need to get T-shirts made
because that has meaning. That has meaning.
We do need that's overdue. The T-shirt.
Yeah, JAKIB Media shirts.
Everybody loves the Look at that.
I'm saying. See?
There we go. Yeah. So we do have to make.
But it gives the meaning, man. That means there it is. I mean, there it is.
Yeah. We need some shirts to say. Well, D Gun said,
right,
something like that. I mean, I'm serious. We need to make some money off this.
What did your former boss say? Well, hey, D Gun's gonna do.
That's right. I even had my boss talking about what D Gun's gonna do. What D Gun's gonna do, and Barrett stood there and went,
"No, what? You didn't."
You know what that same boss used to say? Rob Ellis is going to do what I tell him to do. There was a little bit of a difference there. It was slight. I don't know if that's T-shirt worthy, but it was slightly different.
Rob.
Yeah.
He said, "You know what? I woke up and I thought I slapped you in the head. I came to work, man. I didn't do it."
Yeah, I would have been taken out in cuffs if I said that.
Yeah, right. I'm looking like
to that person. Yeah,
I was like, "Did he just say that?"
I'm glad my wife didn't find out about that because I would have been sitting in a chair in the kitchen like this. Yes.
Yes, dear.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I know. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Unbelievable. All right. So Brady, $375 million for 10 years. We know Romo's making like 17. The money being thrown around is just beyond belief. That's for sure. I mean, it is unbelievable. All right. So we got Bobby Taylor at 1, 2:00, Keith Pompey.
Well, hold on. Look at say it took me watching the middle for a month to figure out what meant.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yes. Yeah.
It took him a month.
Yeah. Stick around. That's how things usually come to you in about a month. So we got about another month before everything else makes sense. It comes out of our mouths.
Hey, Barrett. Rob had no idea what he was getting into when he decided to sign on with us to do this show. I'm telling you. He thought this was going to be
you think it was a coincidence I was late for coming back from a break the last time? I was being convinced not to run away by somebody.
Rob thought we were going to be professional.
Right. Professional what?
There's no professionalism on this show.
Yeah.
Man.
Bro, Rob, first thing, our first time I really met Rob was during the process of Breakfast on Broad. We were interviewing other people.
Yep.
To see, and I didn't know I had the job, so I'm like, well, Rob, I asked Rob, why are we interviewing people and I don't even have a job yet? I'm like, what is going on?
I go, dude, you got the job if it's you and me doing this, okay?
But look, the first week is a 2-hour show. The first week, I may have said 10 words the entire time. When no long story long, it was nothing. I may have said 10 words. He'd be looking and say, got anything to say, Barrett?
No, I'd be like, your thoughts, Barry? I'm on this, I'm going on this rant. I'm screaming. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I need to take a breather for 2 seconds. And I'm like, now's your time, man.
Hey, and when I first,
he's not like that anymore, but he was back then. Yeah.
When I first met Rob, we broke ground together because we helped start Comcast Sports Network, and Rob was producing a Barcan's show. What was it, Daily News Live back?
Yes.
What was it called back then? Daily News Live. Yeah. And Rob was this very stoic individual, very professional, very low key. He'd walk in and he'd speak to you in a very professional manner. I'm like, who's this dude, man? This dude too serious for me, man. And then a few years later, when you got to know him and you heard some of the stuff come out of his mouth, I'm like, oh, that's the Rob Ellis I like.
That's right.
There,
that's right.
I didn't know him either for the first 2 weeks we do the show. So we do this event and it's down there. It's Philly. Where's that place where they have the market, with a little marketplace down in Philly?
Reading Terminal Market.
We're Reading Terminal.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I see the real Rob E come out. I go down there and see Rob E. He's got his little Kango hat down. He comes in. I'm like, well, daggone it. Okay, Rob got a little soul to him. He got a little pizzazz to him, Had a couple beers and we was talking real stuff then. You know what I'm saying? I said, all right, I can rock with Rob now.
That's what we're going to get right here. That's what we do. Because we don't have stuffed shirts breathing down our neck, telling us what to say or doing anything.
We couldn't even wear what we wanted to wear. I remember I couldn't wear it.
I remember you got your stones busted pretty hard with the outfits.
Oh man, no prints, nothing, just all solid shirts. I'm like,
I hated that, man.
Paisley,
like being in a parochial school, man.
Right, it was, dude. Trust me.
Like, seriously.
I got a lecture for getting my hair cut too short. Now it wasn't like
I remember that.
I didn't shave my head. I go in high and tight like I always do, and it was like, the audience is used to you looking one way. You can't look another. I'm like, they're not going to recognize me. Like, are they going to mistake me for Barrett, Jillian, or Sarah? Right. Is that what we're worried about? I don't think we all look that much alike.
But D Gun being D Gun, so we got the memo that we got to wear solid color shirts.
Yeah,
I'm wearing checks. I'm wearing plaid, and
I'm like, well, and
I
first time she'd have said something to me, I'd have said, well, D Gun. I said, I ain't gonna do that. I was ready to too.
You can't do what D Gun does. I'm just telling you.
Habitual line stepper.
I'm just saying. Hey, you know what? Joey B said. Where was it? Said Rob should start wearing the Kango hats. Hey, guess what? Now the CEO of this network, Joe Krause, the man has over 750 Kango hats. Right?
Wow. I can't touch that. I can tell you that. I don't have anywhere near that.
So now, so Joe decides, and I wear Kangos. You don't see them around much anymore, but I still wear Kangos every night. I got black, brown, standard colors.
Yeah.
So Joe decides to give me one as a gift because he knows about a year ago, not last fall, he decides to give me one. So before this show is over, I'm going to put it on and I want your opinion because I appreciate the gift, but I'm thinking, what in the world am I going to wear this with? I'm still trying to figure it out.
Right.
You got to see this one, man.
All right, this combination is just not right.
It's coming.
Yeah, show it to us. We need to. We'll do a little show and tell. That's for sure. Yeah, but that was. We've had some crazy times, man, and we'll keep we all every week. I think we'll do a little storytelling. So we're always going to give some little nuggets away.
Working with Sarah, working with Sarah and Jillian. Those two, I mean, they were great to work.
We'll
with.
get them on. We're going to get them on, and we'll have a little reunion.
They were great to work with.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, you name it.
It was crazy. I saw Jillian doing a report last night for 6 ABC.
Yeah, she worked for 6, yeah.
I saw her doing her thing. Yeah, that's
so,
for sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Going back to college, going to get her master's, and
she's
everything.
doing her thing, man. I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
So I wanted to hit you guys with this. So no Lowry tonight. Is that good or bad? Because I almost think it favors the Sixers if he's out there dragging a leg around.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
I mean, he played
he's our secret
really
weapon.
bad in the last 2 games, and I think
man.
Miami might play better without him.
That's what I'm saying, man. You know what? When I found that out, I said, "Oh, that's bad news." Number one, Miami's lost a 2-0 lead. Number 2, they're going back to their home court now. Number 3, Lowry's not playing. That's some bad. That's some bad juju right there, man. I'm just telling. I don't like. I wish he was out there on the court tonight, dragging that leg around. Because those first 2 games, when he wasn't playing, Tyler Hero played much better.
Yep.
You know. Okay. Yep. Now, obviously, Tyler played his game when Joel was not on the court, and his game's been way off since then. I mean, Tyler's not knocking down the threes. Hey, I guarantee you, even if the Miami's arena is only half full tonight, Tyler Hero is going to be a factor in this game tonight somehow, which is not good. So
yeah, I try, and we'll talk to Keith about this. Keith Pompeo too. My sense is, guys, we're going to see Duncan Robinson tonight. If anything, because they haven't been able to throw it in the ocean, man, from deep. I know Robinson's a liability on defense, but what he can give them from 3-point land, especially because Strus is doing nothing either. You know, he's starting Max Strus. Max Strus can't guard anybody. If you can't, if that's what it's all about, then who cares? Throw Robinson out there if it's about someone who can't guard. So I think there's going to be some moves made tonight. I think Spoelstra's not the type to sit pat and hope things get turned around. I think he's going to be pretty aggressive in what he changes up.
But what are we going to do? Because for all this season, I thought Thibault was best when he was guarding people. But who's he able to guard in this series? If he can't guard anybody in this series, then why have him out there?
Barrett, you're preaching to the choir. He's starting to annoy me. It's
Rob, there's a theme here. A lot of things seem to annoy you. You
I think I need some help.
You imitated Tony Romo.
Oh, Jim!
Now Thibault annoys you, which I'm changing. It's Maurice Thimble. I'm not going to call him Thibault. It's Thimble.
Yeah, that's how you fill up his offensive game. Yeah. Well,
Barry,
no, but I think go ahead.
No, Barry, seriously, why does your phone ring every show? Why is that? Can you explain this? Can you explain that, Barry?
Oh, he's conducting business as we speak.
Who does this?
It's great. It's great, man. I don't know.
Seriously?
It's on us, man. So we can say whatever we want. We can make fun of Barrett right now. So
yeah, we could. He wouldn't even know
make
it.
fun of Barrett time.
He wouldn't even know it. Right.
He's still listening. No, but I Gunnar, here's the thing. You're playing 5-on-4 with him on offense because Thibault's unless it's a lob or a run out where I mean, it's 5-on-4. And he did hit a 3 to his credit in the last game, but that's rare.
He hit a 3.
I'm serious, man. He tries to make the unbelievably athletic, like insane block from behind, which generally he doesn't make, and it usually results in either a foul or a basket. I don't know. I'm sour on him right now. I don't. He's an impossible guy to dislike. He seems like the nice enough guy.
So what position does he guard? The 3, just the 3 and the 2? That's it.
Yeah, I mean he's not big enough to handle a 4. I think you can throw him on a 1 too. He's got that kind of athleticism.
But see, I'm not buying that because you look at what goes on with Green, with he's what 6'8". He's 6'8" and he's guarding 5s, 4s, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
With the Warriors. So
Draymond Green's a freak though, Barrett. I mean he's a different cat. I mean there's not a lot of guys who can do what he does.
Well, that's what I thought Thibault would be. I mean 2 years ago we were talking about he's probably defensive player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
To now he just guards. He specializes in guarding people now. Come on, man.
Well, the other thing that drove me crazy was in I know he was on him sometimes, but in games 1 and 2, I'm thinking, all right, if you have this killer shutdown guy, throw him on Hero. But I don't know. I don't. The Thibault thing confuses me in general.
Well, that's what I thought. I mean, I actually thought that's what we were going to use him for. Maybe I didn't expect him to get Butler. I didn't expect that. Because Butler's his own thing, and
Butler's so crafty and strong.
Right. He's his own thing, man. But I mean, Harris. I think Harris has been doing adequate on him.
I do too. I think actually Harris really has shown me a lot defensively. He's improved his game. It's not his strength, but he's made himself into a pretty decent, willing defender, and I give him props for that. He wasn't great last game offensively, but he's had a good playoff overall.
Hey, you remember going into the series, we were ripping Tobias, about him being a liability. He's been one of the biggest assets in this series against Miami.
Stepped up.
To be quite honest, he stepped his game up.
With the previous series also though.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he won the last 2 games for us.
He's the on the list of concerns. He's way at the bottom. And I think he'll show up tonight. I actually think he'll play very well tonight for the Sixers. That's for sure. All right, we're going to talk to Keith Pompey at 2. When we come back, we're going to get some stories from this next gentleman. Okay.
I got some stuff to ask him, boy.
Amen.
Ooh, that's my guy, man.
He was a part of Barrett's draft class with the Eagles, 1995. Both guys went in the second round. He's beloved in the city. He was the Michael Irvin shutdown man himself, the one and only Bobby Taylor. So don't go anywhere. Bobby Taylor coming up, 2 o'clock, Keith Pompey. I want to get into the Eagles ranking and where they are in the NFC, and their strength of schedule came out as well. So we'll get into that also. We got a lot in store. Phillies actually won a game comfortably too. So you heard me correctly.
I'm shocked.
Phillies won a game.
Nothing.
It wasn't a sweat. It was an easy, boom. Anyway, we'll get into that also. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Media YouTube Network.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98, visit us, IBEW98.org.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. The glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, this, and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back in Sports Take. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We are thrilled to be joined by our next guest. He spent 10 years here with the Philadelphia Eagles. There he is. It's sharp as always. He's got his shirt on. Play football.
He's been that way though.
Yeah.
He came into the league like that. He was always the sharpest. I mean, I remember the first night we went out to a club together. He was the sharpest one out of all of us, man.
Hey, man, don't be telling this business like that, man.
That's what this show's about, BT. What's up, bro?
He trying to get Bobby killed, man.
What's up, Bobby Taylor?
Like loose lips sink ship.
Hey,
I will
good
say
luck
this.
with that with Barrett. Good luck with
man.
that. Go ahead.
I will say this. Back in the heyday when we first started doing, post-game live, I was outside interviewing the players, and Bobby and their crew was like the first. They were like, this part of history because they were like the first crew. And, I've been doing it a long time, but when Bobby would come out and do post-game, I felt inferior because Bobby would come out dressed like he just stepped straight out of GQ. I got on jeans and I'm like, Bobby, even his T-shirts were crisp. And I'm like, man, and even today, like I saw Bobby a couple of times, down at Eagles-Cowboys game. He's standing on the sideline. He's got the coordinated shoes with the jeans, and he still he looks like he in football shape. And I'm like, I hate Bobby Taylor, man.
Cleans the boy to hell. He stayed that way, man.
Bobby was a bad dude back in his day, though, man.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good, you, man.
Good, man.
Congrats on the show. Congrats.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate
Thank you, man.
Hey, tell us what you have going on, man. Show us the shirt.
This is just a NFL play football shirt. I mean, I do consulting now for the football ops department at the league. And so I work directly with youth football, especially being here in Texas. Football is like religion. And so I'm running some youth NFL flag leagues, just trying to expose these kids to something that's organized where, there's not foolishness going on, because there's a big problem going on, not just here in Texas, but all over the country. Like grown-ups are ruining like youth football. You see some of the clips as far as folks fighting and just all type of craziness, right? And so, the league from the top down, they've given us the resources to expose these kids to something that's unheard of, to tell the truth, right? And so to be on the front line of that and just trying to make sure folks are doing the right thing, because, these kids just want to have fun. They want to learn the game and be competitive. Like all of the other craziness, you have parents that are trying to, live out something maybe that they didn't accomplish in their lifetime through these kids. And, it's just making the experiences not good at all. And so, we just want to be on the front line to, share some of our knowledge from all of the years that we played and just try to help these kids. And it's really, at the end of the day, it's not even about a kid making it to the NFL. Really, it's about just being, learning some of the life skills of playing football, all of the different things I know that I've learned. And so, and I want to try to teach these kids, not only from the things that I did well, but I made a lot of mistakes as well, right? So, to be able to share some of that, some of those personal experiences, I mean, it's just been a joy.
Yeah, man. Looking at it, man, I mean, those games, sometimes, man, those games just get too out of hand. I remember it was me. It was B-Dog, his son, Lil Brian, and Coy Detmer's son. Our kids played on the same Pop Warner football team in Voorhees. And I can remember parents wanting to fight the three of us because they said, "What you're teaching our those kids." So I'm like, whoa. It's the end of the third quarter. And we getting our backs kicked in. They're beating us 27-7, something like that. And they're saying you guys are teaching your kids. I mean, these kids are killing our kids, because nobody really wanted to play. Our kids over there playing in the dust and everything else. Their kids out there, they trying to get out, and making things happen. And I was like, come on now, parent, you guys are really yelling at us. Like we're teaching them kids something else. And I'm looking at B-Dog, and he looking at me like, what is going on? Some parents just don't get it, man. They just don't get it.
Absolutely. I think the mere fact, right, that yourself, B-Dog, and Coy got out, we're out there, right?
Right, exactly.
It just means so much. I mean, because, for example, let's just say if there's someone that's studying engineering and a world famous engineer came to the class or wherever these kids were studying, I'm pretty sure those kids will be blown away. So just for the mere fact that you guys are taking your time to be out there, share your knowledge, And like you said, your team wasn't even winning, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You probably were making sure those kids played the right way, which is the most important thing.
Right.
But you know, it just it's mind-boggling to me, right? Just how some of these parents come up to me and they're talking about a 5-year-old and they're like, look, Bobby, my child is going to be in the NFL. He's going here, he's going there. The first thing I say was, hey, what type of grades did you make this week, right? And they get quiet because, you know, I brag about this all the time. When I was in high school, I was an honor roll student. You know, there were people that were like, man, how are you able to go to Notre Dame? I'm like, because I applied myself. I made sacrifices where, you know, we probably couldn't go to the senior prom or some of these dances and all of these type of things because we were traveling on the road and things like that. And so I made those sacrifices early in my life. And so I just try to share those same experiences. But I mean, you'll be astonished. I'm pretty sure you've heard it as well, B, as far as people coming up to you saying, you know what, you know, their child is going to be the next B Dawkins. And I'm like,
right. Yeah.
Good luck to you. I mean,
they don't know what he did to get there either. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Bobby, so what do you do? What do you and your group do to control the extracurricular stuff in terms of, you know, hey, look, in our leagues, you parents, you can't do what you do in these other leagues. I mean, how do you control that dynamic so parents understand it's not about you, it's about the kids having fun and learning team camaraderie and stuff like that?
Well, that's in our opening league discussion, right?
Yeah.
So we set the tempo early where we say, look, these are the protocols for parents, these are the protocols for coaches, and then we let them know that, like, listen, even though I'm a former player, even though I consult for the league now, I go through a background check.
Right.
Everybody has to go through a background check because we have people saying, well, I work here, I do this. Well, why do I have to go? Listen, if you don't want to go through the background check, you're not going to be able to volunteer to coach for it or be a team parent, like, period. And then secondly, like, we have police there, period. Off the top, like, we're not even playing with anybody. It's not even like, okay, a first chance, second chance, all of that. It's like, listen, if you don't abide by these particular rules as far as respecting, first of all, yourself, respecting the other fans that are there, respecting the kids, respecting the coaches, and then also respecting the referees, right? Because referees, they're in the belly of the beast. Because, you know, a lot of times they're getting it from coaches, they're getting it from players sometimes, and they're getting it from people in the stands. And then the way that we have it set up, luckily, you know, we were able to go in and talk to, like, the athletic directors. So we play where the varsity football team plays, and so it's in a stadium setting. So we have 4 through 14-year-old kids, right, playing where varsity football teams play. So it's a nice facility. So in coming into something like that, they already know the standard of, like, okay, we're going to where the big boys are playing, right? Where Friday night lights are taking place. So we would hope that it sets the temperature as far as before they even get to the stadium, as far as how they should and shouldn't act. And so I think with that, right, and we just try to be as transparent as possible, especially when I say I go through a background check. Well, show me. I can go online and show you, like, okay, if it's really that serious, right, I can actually show you that. And so, you know, just being transparent, being upfront, and then just, you know, not really giving them chances after we already set the expectation. And then at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, you know what, we don't need your money. Like in a lot of these leagues, like they may be struggling a little bit, right? But because with the way that we're structured and some of the partnerships that we had, and, you know, I give Roger and Troy Vincent, Isaiah Reese, who runs NFL Flag, they went out and gotten great partners. I mean, Russell Wilson is actually like the CEO of NFL Flag, right? He has his own leagues in Seattle, and now they're starting leagues in Denver with him being traded to Denver. And so we just have a lot of great partners from a technology standpoint. I mean, we have an app, for example, because we've had some women that wanted to step up and coach, right? Especially now with young ladies being able to get college scholarships to play NFL Flag in college, right? So we've had some women that wanted to coach, and they've been a little bit intimidated, but we say, you know what, we're going to hold your hand and walk you through this to where you can just put in information. I have 10 5-year-olds. I want to construct a 45-minute practice. These are some of the type of drills that I want to do. And it just spits it out for you in maybe a few minutes, right? So the barriers to entry, whether it's for women that young ladies that want to play or women that want to coach as well, right? We're just welcoming everyone with open arms. And I think just being on the front line of something like that, for me, I mean, it's right in my wheelhouse as far as, you know, what I want to do for a long time.
Good for you, Bob. That's awesome, man. And that is critical stuff to form that get that foundation at such a young age. Cause that,
Absolutely.
you know, you can create monsters at a young age, man. And it's on the parents for sure. All right. So I did want to talk to you about your Eagle career, because you are beloved in this city, man.
Still.
Yeah. I mean, you look back at your years here and you know, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is the battles you had with Michael Irvin and whatnot. What were your impressions coming out of ND? Kid who grew up in Texas, obviously, and it comes from what an athletic background, man. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Your father won a gold and a silver in '72. Is that correct? At the Olympics and track?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I mean, pretty good genes, right? But when you came here from ND, what were your thoughts going to Philly, and then how it kind of played out?
Well, for me, right, it was one of those things where, you know, I just wanted to play. And of course, you know, everybody wants to possibly be a first rounder and all of those type of things. And, you know, when I was drafted in the first round, you know, there were other folks that were saying, well, you should have been. I said, listen, man, I got drafted where I was supposed to get drafted. And whatever happened, I was just going to use it as fuel to my fire to try to go and, you know, blend into the organization and just try to make my stamp. Right. And so coming into the situation, right, I knew Eric Allen had just left there. And so I did my own research. And then when I got there, of course, the fans and the media let me know that as well. Like, okay, Eric Allen just left here. He had this Hall of Fame career. What are you going to do? And it was like, well, you know what, sir, ma'am, I'm just going to be the best Bobby Taylor that I can be. And so for me, it was one of those things where we had Mark McMillan, who took me under my wing, and we still stay in contact with each other today. We had Derek Frazier, who was also the starter. And so it was like, look, we're going to put you inside. And so I'm like, let's have it. And a lot of guys probably in my position would have been intimidated with that, right? To, you know, you're a rookie and they're asking you to go inside and play the slot. And so for me, I was just like, man, look, put me in there. I'm going to make something happen, right? And so working with Emmett, working with Ray, you know, those guys, former DBs, right? And so when they brought me into the fold, they were just like, listen, we're going to put you in here. You know, it's going to be tough. We want you to learn as much as you can. And so that's what I tried to do, right? And that's what I try to talk to a lot of youngsters, where don't just learn your position, learn the other positions around you. So you know where to be, you know where your help is going to be, and, you know, all of those type of things, right? And I'm like, look, if somebody get hurt, you need to be able to, you know, plug and play. And so that's how I just, you know, I just wanted to accept the challenge of going to play in a tough place like Philly, because when I was at Notre Dame, we actually played at Veterans Stadium a couple of times. And so I was kind of familiar. And, you know, you would always hear about, you know, just the fans and the back and forth. And, you know, being from Texas, I wasn't necessarily a Cowboys fan, but a lot of my family were Cowboys fans. And, you know, unfortunately, they continue to be Cowboys, even though I was playing for the Eagles, right? I mean, you know, the love for me wasn't strong enough to pull them away from being a Cowboys fan. So,
we came in together, man.
I just want to be a part of, you know, something great. I wanted to play, you know, for a long time. And unfortunately, especially being there in Philly for 9 years, you know, it was just a blessing.
Yeah, tell them, man, we first got there, we both started like day one.
Yeah.
And the expectation for us was just off the chain, you know, and just being in that city and the expectation of how they thought of football, you know what I mean? It was a culture shock to us, you know, like cars parking in the middle of the street, you know, I mean, just stuff like that, man. You know, our experience with Philly was just, it was mind blowing to myself. You know what I'm saying? You came as a junior.
I can remember at the vet, right? B, I'm pretty sure you can remember this, where, you know, we didn't have a special parking lot.
Right.
We just parked, and right next to us would be fans that were out our car. And, you know, when the preseason started and the season started, everything was good. But you know, when we had some rocky times, just imagine going to park in that same parking lot, and those fans were in your ear all the way until you made it to the plate. Like, it wasn't like we couldn't hide.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So just experiencing all of that and just seeing where the game is overall today. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable.
Bro, tell them about how we hold on one second. Yeah. Tell them about how our first camp was in Westchester, in that pit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And it was hot as hell. You couldn't breathe. I'm buying water ice for Guy McIntyre, Riley McKenzie, all them guys. I mean, it was just a different spirit. And plus, we had to get there 5 weeks early.
5 weeks. And I'm like,
5 weeks.
I'm like, it gets this hot in Westchester. I'm listening. I'm thinking like, okay, I'm coming from Texas. You know, I'm working out all summer. It's hot. It's humid. You know, it's 95 degrees at nighttime. Get to camp. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a breeze. Man, it was like crazy. I can remember one of the most eye-opening things that I can remember being in Westchester, right, was we had a morning practice, and I forgot who the gentleman was. He was a safety for us, and we're in the second practice, you know, stretching. And we're, you know, looking around, making sure everybody there. And we're like, oh, where's so-and-so? He wasn't here. So we look back up the hill because, you know, you have to run down the hill. And somebody had the number on. We like, but the body didn't look the same. I'm like, so look. So we just had a morning practice. They cut my man at lunch. Gave somebody his number. I hope they watched the jersey.
That's cold-blooded.
That's
cold-blooded. I was like, oh, this ain't Notre Dame. Listen, this ain't Notre Dame.
Yeah, Lou Holtz ain't walking through that door anytime soon.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that, right? That's just so eye-opening to where, you know, folks that, you know, they don't get treated like that in their job, right? Yeah. Is that like that should be like an HR violation or something where it's like I practice in the morning. And you cut me at lunchtime and somebody else wearing my number for the PM practice? Come on, man.
Hey, Bobby, I got to ask you this, man. We need some inside for all our listeners out here. We need some inside dirt on Barrett. You were picked 8 slots ahead of Barrett in the second round of 95. Now, tell us your initial impression of this big country guy coming from Missouri and what he was like as you got to know him.
You know what I always remembered about Barrett, right, is he just had this air of like confidence, and he talked because I'm a more of a quiet guy. Of course, I'm talking now, but you know, he would just his voice, the tone and volume of his voice, right? But he just had this level of confidence, and so that was just something that always stood out. And I think especially walking into a locker room. The way we had at that particular time, because you think about the folks that we had on offense. We had Randall Cunningham, we had Rodney Peete, we had Heisman Trophy winner Ty Detmer. I mean, we had some guys on the offense side of the ball, right?
Yeah.
Kevin Turner, Ricky Waters, you know, and so to be drafted to where he was, I mean, you had to have that just so you could survive just the day to day, because I mean, the locker room dynamic, being on the plane, like all of that type of stuff was just like, I mean, something that I'd never really experienced before personally, right? But the good thing about it, you know, all of those older guys, you know, they were true professionals.
Yep.
You know, they took us up under our wings, right? Up under their wings. And it's something that I think that rubbed off on us to where when we became older players, being accepting of the younger guys that came in, because you know, at the end of the day, they needed Barrett to win some games, right? They needed myself to win some games that year and to be able to, you know, play as tough as we did to make it to the playoffs our rookie season. I mean, that was a good deal right there.
Like these guys these days, like we had to give this guy $100 for socks and jocks. They just give it out like it's nothing. We had to pay for socks and jocks. I remember I had a Nike contract.
Yeah.
And I ordered Nike shoes, and he would order like 3 or 4 pairs.
I think they was keeping some of that.
Russ.
That was an inside job. I remember. Right. It was like man, we used to be like, okay, so-and-so getting ready to walk up to the window to ask for something. I wonder if he gonna come back with something, right? We like, oh, he got through. I'm like, okay, let me try my luck. See if I can, man, I can remember that.
They played me one time.
I think they were keeping some of our money.
Oh, no question. No, hey, one time, man, the veterans got me, dog. We playing in Seattle. You better pack your shoes. All right. I said, what kind of cleats? Oh, pack your them long cleats. It rained a lot. It rained a lot in Seattle. Pack them long cleats.
Straight
for us, it's an indoor stadium.
Straight
and I packed the cleats, long cleats. They told me it's raining there. And like a dummy, I packed all grass shoes, man.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I'm like, come on, man. Why y'all do me like this? Right? They flat out had to cut. They took the thing and cut the things off so I could play, man. I mean, that's the type of stuff they did to us, man.
Straight turf, man. Straight inside. We indoors too.
Yeah. I mean, we're not shocked to hear that kind of story. Bob, I got to ask you, legendary battles with Michael Irvin, man. And a lot of people thought the Eagles drafted you just to shut him down, right? With the size that you had and Irvin's size, it would kill the Eagles in the years leading up to when you got there. So just some reminiscing about those days against the Cowboys.
Yeah, so it actually almost didn't happen, right? So leading up all during the week, myself and I know Barry, remember Chris T. Jones played Mike all week. So we battling, fighting, wrestling. I mean, it's extra stuff after the play, during practice, right? So leading up to it, my confidence was high, and so we're like pre-game. Well, matter of fact, the night before the game. And Emmett was like, hey, we're going to put you on the other receiver and we're going to put Mark on Mike. And and we're going to do all the things that we did with you during the week. And I was like, man, what's up? Like, I practiced like hard this week. Like, why are you doing that? And so, that's how I went to bed that night. So we get to the stadium. It's a Monday night game. I remember back home, they say pre-game. No, we're gonna put you on Mike. Man, I was like I was like a kid in a candy store, right? Because for one, I knew Mike couldn't outrun me, and so I could just fight him, all I wanted to. I wasn't in fear of that, right? And I never said that openly or publicly or what have you, because I didn't want to give away my own special sauce, even though the matchup was still tough for me. I just felt like physically, what his strengths were played into everything that I could do physically. And so I just used that to the best of my ability. And it really was kind of like I used my all of the years from playing basketball. And I just used that on the football field. And that's why when I talk to a lot of kids as well, I'm saying, hey, man, don't specialize. Like, play other sport. Yeah. Even running track, throwing the shot put, the discus, if you're a big guy, what have you. Like, man, don't just specialize in one of anything, just because when you play other sports, there's just so many other transferable skills that you just naturally develop. And you also just don't burn yourself out by just doing one thing. And so I look forward to that matchup. It's funny now, being in Texas from time to time, I run into Mike, especially when I go back to the Dallas area and visit some of my friends. And, it's all love, right? Because people thought that we actually like didn't like each other. And it was like, I didn't even know him personally, really. What I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, for real, like, when you look at Mike and see some of the interviews, I mean, he was seen to be like a cool dude to hang out with, for real. Yeah. Before I got to know him. And so, it would just be funny when I would go back home, because people where I'm from, man, when I say love, hate, I mean, when I say they love the Cowboys and pretty much hate everybody else. And so they really thought that, like, man, why are you so mad at Mike? I'm like, dude, I'm working. Like, when you're playing football, like, I'm working. You know what I mean? So it was just funny to see like how that played out. But I mean, I thank Mike, really, because to become someone, I guess, where you could build up your own reputation. I mean, you have to do well against someone, and Mike happened to be that guy for me.
Hey, BT, I'm looking at a lot of our comment section here, and a number of people have brought up something I completely forgot about. You know, Bobby Taylor was so big at one point in his career. He was on MTV Crib.
Right.
And I'm like, I forgot all about that, man. Take me through that, man. I mean, when MTV Cribs was hot, they had all the rappers on, all these big time stars, and I was like, Bobby Taylor on MTV Cribs? What?
Man, listen, that was just probably one of those, you know, like throw it up in the sky, wishful thinking, and it happened to happen, right? And so, yeah, I did it. But the only bad thing about it, right? They put me on the episode with Richard Branson. I mean, he had an island. Like, they couldn't find another episode. You know what I'm saying? Be on. It's like, oh man. Like, so when they sent the I don't even think it was an email at the time. Whatever they sent was like
fax, probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna come out on this particular date, and here are some of the people that I'm like. I was happy, but it was just like, come on, dude. like,
well, hey,
oh man.
Well, but you know what though, man? Just talk about playing different sports, man. People understand. BT played at Notre Dame. He played basketball at Notre Dame also. So I tell I was talking to a couple guys about like Smith. Devontae Smith said he the best basketball player on the team, the Eagles team. He just said this, and they said they got a squad. I was like, there's no way you could have beat our squad.
Yeah,
we played.
And we traveled too.
Right.
Yeah, like that was one thing that was one that was just. It was a lot of things that were cool about the guys, but like we didn't just work together.
Yeah, we were out together.
Because, you have some people where man they going and they clocking in, and when practice is over or meetings is over, they're gone. But we did things like that, especially in the off season where we had a little road show and. Man, I can remember myself, Dawk, Ike.
Yeah, people say I threw an alley-oop to Dawkins.
Yeah.
And I threw it up. And when I threw it, he caught it back here. And when he dunked it, he was like this.
Yep.
He was that's how good an athlete we had. The good athletes we have. Mamula was a good athlete.
Absolutely.
Me, man, Bobby was just, you would think, because he was, how tall you, boss? About 6'4", 6'3"?
Yeah, 6'3", 6'4", yep.
Bro, he would take it down. He wouldn't even pass half court.
I mean, he was like that. He was one of those gunners.
Yes,
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to toot my horn, but I did get Player of the Year in Texas in the largest classification in basketball. We won state my senior year.
Well, I love that. How did you decide? You could have gone big time for track. You could have gone big time for hoops or football. Why did football win? And
I just felt, I felt just naturally, right? If any of the sports that I could choose to play, football was probably the one. Like I said, I enjoyed and loved playing them all, especially during the off season. But I was just something about football, right? And then also when I was in high school, when you were, going to high school at Longview in East Texas, at the time, I think we probably had maybe 40,000 people in the city, and you got Lou Holtz coming to your town, visiting you.
That's crazy.
Coming to your crib, like that was just a big deal for me. And so, and then they also gave me the leeway, excuse me, to be able to play basketball, and that was important. That was important to me. So, when all of those stars aligned. I just couldn't turn it down, playing football. So,
and Bobby's son, correct me if I'm wrong,
big time baller,
is a stud too at Texas A&M, correct?
Yeah. So, they quote unquote had the best recruiting class in history. We'll see how that pans out on the field. But yeah, he plays football, and so it's a blessing. I don't have to spend any money for college tuition.
yeah.
That's paid for. So that's definitely a blessing. But yeah, so I have 3 boys. My oldest, like I say, 18, and then I have a 9 and a 6-year-old, all boys in my household, running around tearing up stuff. So they keep me busy. That's why I'm sweating now. I just finished working out. See, D Gun is spoiled, man. It's nothing like having a relationship. He sent me a text like maybe an hour ago.
I did.
Hey, I'm doing this show with these guys. Can you just jump on here? And then look, I didn't get back to him quick. he gonna send me a B. Look how he did it, right? He gonna send a message. I'm like, it said Bobby Taylor didn't respond, but it was me. I'm like, that's how you doing? But you know what? That's my man.
Hey,
relationships, baby.
Hey, I got you on here, didn't I?
That thing said Bobby Taylor didn't respond. I'm like, hold up.
I did.
I sending this to me?
Oh my God.
Send that to the producer or somebody else. But
No, you know what?
all good.
You know what? To be honest, I thought I was sending it to Barrett, Rob, and our producer. Hey, Bobby didn't respond yet. And I looked down and said, oh, shoot. I sent it to Bobby. I'm glad. I didn't say no message, man. Bobby big time me or something like that.
Yeah, Bobby, I'll say this. In Gunner's defense, all he was trying to do was say, hey, we may not have him at 1.
Yeah,
he wasn't
that's
knocking it.
Exactly.
He wasn't knocking
See?
it. He
Yeah.
wasn't. He's
Hey,
not
but
like that.
Bobby, let me ask you this. So if Notre Dame plays Texas A&M, who are you rooting for?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I mean, rooting for.
Uh-oh.
I mean, that's nothing personal against Junior. It's just, hey, listen, the folks at Notre Dame, the people at A&M should be happy, first of all.
Yeah.
They were upset that I didn't go to Notre Dame. Then my freshman and sophomore year, we drug them through the mud in the Cotton Bowl. Now he's going to school. So that's kind of, he should be in some good graces. But if the two schools played against each other, I mean, of course I want Junior to do well, but man, I'm Notre Dame all day long.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Bob, listen, man, keep up the great work.
Thank you, man.
That you're doing in the community. We appreciate it
Appreciate
sure,
you,
man.
bro. Yep.
And it was great catching up with you, man. It was really
Matter of fact, I'm in the B-Dog golf tournament. I think it was next week or
Yeah, next week I'll see you there because I'm on the board of directors.
I don't golf well, but hey, I'm showing love to my man. I'll be there for sure.
Yeah,
love it. All right, we can't wait to have you in town, Bob. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for a couple minutes.
I'll try to give you ample warning next time I hit you up because I'm gonna call you back again later. So I'll try to be.
Hey, B, tell the wife I said hello, man.
I definitely will, bro. Appreciate it. You too, man.
Right.
You too, man.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right,
too,
Bob.
man. Thank you, Bobby.
Be good, man. Yeah, Bobby Taylor.
Man.
That was fun.
It was by accident, man. I was like, hey, haven't heard back from Bobby yet. Oh shoot! I said that to Bobby. Whoops.
That's what it's all about, though, man. But hey, I mean,
that's funny. That's a funny.
Right.
Okay. Hey, Brian, congratulations on the job. What? Excuse me? You might have the wrong Brian here.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Man, love
all
it,
right.
man.
Let's all catch our breath. That was great. That was great, man.
Oh,
all right.
man.
Let's come back. I want to throw this at you guys. I ranked the NFC teams, not East, but the whole conference. And I'll tell you where the Eagles rank. You tell me if I'm crazy. All right, we'll go through that, and I'll give you what the percentage is for the Eagles' strength of schedule, where they rank in those terms too. Okay, so we'll dig into everything when we get back. Good stuff with Bobby Taylor. That's for sure. 2:00. Keith Pompey from the Philadelphia Inquirer is down in Miami, so we'll talk to Keith at that time. B. Brooks, D. Gunn, R. Ellis, Sports Take, JAKIB Media YouTube Network.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98, visit us, IBEW98.org.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. Glasses for cocktails, right?
It's for this, 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 and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Okay, but is the rim...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
All right, Gunner. Barrett, you asked.
Oh,
I brought it
Then we
back.
talking about that's what I'm talking about.
That's
Yeah.
one of my Kangos. Yes. my Scully.
I've
My
never
Scully
seen you
cat.
wear a Kango, man.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
That's his look, man. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's his look.
Wait till you see this one. Wait till you see this one. I'm gonna save it for the last segment.
Okay.
I'm gonna save it for the last one.
Is this the one Krause got you?
Yes.
All right. All right. I'm excited to see
now,
it.
I know I'm gonna have to wear it at some point because I don't want to hurt Krause's feelings, but I got to figure out what I'm gonna wear with this. So I might need some fashion tips from you guys, just to
all right. We're here. That's why we're here.
coordinate,
We're fashionistas, as
I
they say.
appreciate it, man.
Yes.
B Brooks always stepping out, man. B Brooks, even his socks cost $100 a pair.
Barrett is always coordinated. Like Barrett's watches match with his
Yeah.
shirt. There's always, I give him credit. There's always thought involved to what he's got on. I like it.
You can't be big and sloppy, bro.
Hey, look, even his watches are big as satellite dishes.
They are.
I'm
They have their
like-
own zip codes. At
I
Barrett's.
asked, hey, man, is that a direct TV satellite dish or is that a watch, man? What the heck is that, man?
Yeah.
I told you I put on one of his watches, man. My wrist hurt for a week.
It's
after
a
I took
workout.
that thing off.
It is a straight up workout, man. When you throw one of his,
What?
he gave me one. I still have it somewhere. He gave me one, man. And the problem is, I just can't pull it off because it goes from like my elbow to my wrist.
It's like a plate.
And I'm like, what? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it got it for him. It's got a couple watch faces on
Yes,
it, man.
it's the blue one with the watch face.
Yeah.
It's a badass watch. I'm telling you, it's a great watch. I just can't pull it off, man, personally. But
Wait,
all right.
he gave you a watch?
Yeah.
He never gave me nothing but grief.
Exactly. Well, you give
Gave
him
him
high
what?
blood pressure.
What?
You give him high
Gave
blood
me a-
pressure. I don't.
What?
There's a difference.
Gave you a watch?
Come on, Derek.
It's
Come
like
on,
that?
man.
Are we like that? That's it? That's how
That's
it rolls
That's
now?
exactly right.
Come on,
Okay.
man.
All right. That's
Come
how
on.
it is.
I wanted to throw this at you guys. So let me first give you the strength of schedule. Then I'll tell you where I have the Eagles ranked. Okay. So this is from our guy, Jeff Kerr, CBS. He tweeted this out. And Jeff does an excellent job. Follow him on Twitter at Jeff Kerr, CBS. 2022 strength of schedule. Eagles rank 30th in strength of schedule. With
especially away games.
Yeah, opponent win percentage is 464. Now, by comparison, the Rams, obviously, they won the Super Bowl, right? Have the toughest strength of schedule. Their opponent win percentage is 567, more than 100 points more. So I'll just give you the top 5. LA is number 1, the Arizona Cardinals 2, Cincy 3, Tampa 4, and tied for 5th, San Fran and Kansas City. The Eagles are 30th, right? How about the last 2? Tied for 31, Washington and Dallas.
Come on, man.
Seriously.
That ain't right.
That's crazy.
That ain't right, man. Hold up. How's that possible? Didn't Dallas win a division last year?
Right.
They were 12-5 last year.
That's what I'm saying.
How do they have the easiest schedule?
A lot of it does. Some of it does. Like Green Bay, for example, is 22nd.
That's unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean
Wow.
it is bizarre. The Giants are right at a tick above the Eagles at 29th. Their opponent win percentage is 465. But yeah, so you're four of the actually the bottom three are the Giants. I'm sorry, the bottom four: Giants, Eagles, Washington, and then Dallas in terms of easiest schedule.
Wow.
So pretty interesting.
Well, the cards are lining up with just the way we need them again. You know what I'm saying? And we just got to take advantage of it. Looking at the schedule, man, the away games, we're looking pretty good, man. The two toughest opponents, Dallas and the Cardinals, for away games. So, I mean, we may be all right next year also.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, they benefited from it this year. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially the back end, man. The back end was a cakewalk. All right. So I just for fun before the show, I ranked the NFC from best to the Eagles, to where the Eagles would fall. All right. You guys tell me what you think. All right. Here's my order. Rams 1, Buccaneers 2, Packers 3, Cowboys 4, Cardinals 5, Eagles 6, 49ers 7. I did top 7. Now, here's my trepidation with a couple of these. We know how hard it is to repeat, so that's going to affect the Rams. It's very difficult to repeat no matter how good you are. I think the Patriots were the last team in the mid-2000s, right? Bucks did lose some people, and I just wonder, at any point, is Brady show that he's not Superman at some point? I don't know. You always say that every year, and then he still goes out there and deals. Packers lost a lot, Derek, as you well know.
Yep.
Not just Devontae Adams. That's the big one. That's the headliner. But they did lose a good amount, especially of offensive firepower, and I don't know who Aaron Rodgers is throwing to, right? Then Cowboys, to me, it's always look great on paper, never really deliver. But I have them.
Know their coach.
Yeah. And the Cardinals, as much as there's talent there, Kingsbury and Kyler Murray have collapsed the last couple of years. Late.
Right.
That playoff game was.
That's Kingsbury's MO, man. They collapsed down the stretch. Yep.
Right. And then the only reason I have the Niners below the Eagles is just because we don't know about the quarterback situation. Like Garoppolo is still there. That's strange. We don't know how good Trey Lance is going to be. And the Debo stuff is still kind of up in the air a little bit, right? So that was my reasoning. Tell me what you guys think. Again, I have the Eagles 6th out of 7th. Some people may say low, some people may say high. I do think they have a good chance to win the division, but that's just the way I have it ranked right now.
I think so also. Yep.
I think that's about right now, the way you stacked them up. When you look at Dallas, again, I think their biggest Achilles heel will be Mike McCarthy. But Dallas has a lot of talent down there. And, we joke about Mike McCarthy, and yet they won 12 out of 17 games last year. Mm-hmm. So they have the talent, and then their defense is really good,
Yeah.
When you look at Tampa Bay, longest time Brady's down there, Tampa Bay is always a threat.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, obviously, the negative for success is to do it again. It's that much harder the next time to do it. Arizona, I'm still not sold on Kyler Murray. I think he's a great fantasy football player. He's like a pinball wizard. I love watching him play, but he makes a lot of mistakes. And Cliff Kingsbury's MO, since he's been there, has been their team collapses down the stretch. You go back to last season, they were undefeated when Green Bay went in Arizona and shocked them, and all of a sudden they weren't the same team anymore after that. You look at Green Bay. You're right. Devontae Adams is gone, but then Green Bay uses its 2 first-round draft picks to take defense when they had one of the top 10 defenses in the league last year. They took 2 players from Georgia. So their defense is going to be strong. And Green Bay is known for 2 things. Number one, if you look at the back end of their secondary, which the Eagles don't, Green Bay has spent a lot of capital on drafting DBs as first-round pick. And then they brought in the kid Amos from the Chicago Bears to play safety to solidify their back end. Number 2, for the last 20 years, Green Bay always finds these receivers in rounds 3, 4, 5, and 6 and turn them into Pro Bowlers. You can go back to Donald Driver, Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, so on and so forth. Green Bay always. So they drafted this kid in the 2nd round, Christian Watson, out of North Dakota State, ran a 4.35 40 at the combine. Eventually, 6'5", and running a 4.3. Then they drafted another receiver who runs like a 4.4. 2 picks later. So, you're right. You don't replace a Devontae Adams like that, but they'll get him up to speed. So I think Green Bay is going to be in the mix. I don't think Green Bay is going to be in the Super Bowl, but I think, to me, the 49ers is that team you got to watch the closest because you don't know Garoppolo's status. I do believe he's going to be the quarterback. I don't think they trust their young kid yet to take over. And 49, one thing you know about the 49ers, their defense is always rugged. When they're healthy, they are rugged on defense, and their defense keeps them in a lot of games. And in no way, shape, or form do I see them allowing Deebo Samuels not to wear a 49ers uniform in 2022. And when he's on the field, that kid is special, man. So I have no qualms whatsoever the way you stack the teams up in the NFC. I would say, again? Huh? Yeah, give me the list again.
Rams, Bucks, Packers, Cowboys, Cardinals, Eagles, 49ers. So the Eagles fall 6th on that list.
The only thing I would rank them like this. I would go Green Bay.
Green Bay 1, even with the
number 1
losses?
Green Bay.
Wow,
yep. I can't even do that.
Man.
Aaron Rodgers, bro. Green Bay.
I know.
Okay.
Then I'd go Rams. Then I'd go Tampa Bay. And then the list pretty much the same after that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the only if I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out what other teams are potentially playoff teams. I don't think anybody else in the East besides the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Right.
I don't know the Vikings. They just feel like a mediocre team. Maybe a coaching change gives them some kind of shot in the arm. I don't know. I don't like anybody in the South besides Tampa. I just at all. And then I go out west. Seattle's going to fall off. I mean, they've lost Russell Wilson.
Yep. The defense is a mess. Bobby Wagner's gone.
Yeah. And they're in a transition period right now. So usually you count them to be a team that's possible. I don't see it.
They may win 6 games. They may win 6 games.
Yeah, I think they're going to be down. I think this will probably be last year Pete Carroll. I'm surprised they didn't make that. To me, if you're trading Wilson away and you're really turning this thing over, don't you make a move at coach too?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
So that kind of surprised me there. Look, I think the Eagles are a bit of a wild card. I mean, let's face it. It's something we've discussed a lot and we'll continue to discuss. But if Jalen Hurts takes it to the next level and becomes that guy, do I think they can move up on that list? I think they can get ahead of the Cardinals, and I think they can get ahead of the Cowboys for sure.
I agree. I agree.
They could be right there in the top 4 if he's that guy. See,
I still say that the Rams, to me, are the creme de la creme of the NFC until further notice. They've lost a few players, but they added Bobby Wagner to the middle of that defense. You got Aaron Donald in front of him. You still have Leonard Floyd still in front of him there. You got Jalen Ramsey on the back end of that defense as well.
I was watching film on him last night.
Man, it's crazy. And then you look at their offense. They added Allen Robinson. Okay, so Robert Woods is gone, but they added Allen Robinson. Oh, by the way, to go with Cooper Kupp. Oh, by the way, to go with Van Jefferson as well. That kid's a young up-and-coming stud.
Like him a lot.
I love him. I look at their running back situation. Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson Jr. Are you kidding me? Their offensive line is decent. I think the one tackle just retired.
He
finally.
did. Whitworth
retired.
Yeah. But I look at the Rams, man. If they stay healthy, I think the Rams are going to be the team to beat in the NFC this year.
Yeah. Hey, Barrett, I know, speaking of film, you were watching some Bradbury yesterday as well?
Yep.
What's your sense here? Because there's a lot of debate whether or not the Eagles should take a run at him because he did have a down year last year, but
that's why you should make a run at him.
Okay.
Because he did have a down year last year. Watching film on him, he still would be the second best corner in that meeting room if he came to the Eagles.
Right.
You can get him at a cheaper price. He's not going to require. He'll be right along the lines of what Jordy Nelson. Now Jordy Nelson's got 2 years, $10 million, but I really think that's right around where you could pick him up at. He's never been a guy that he had in all. If you look at it, in all reality, he's had 3 good years and playing at a high level. 3 good years, 2 years with the Panthers, and then the first year with the Giants. Then after that, he's played, okay. He's played pretty well, but it's not like he's a star, like he's Revis Island or anything. You know what I'm saying? He's a constant corner. The reason why they let him go, they still have some good corners there. They still have pretty good guys there. So I think that's the major reason why he just didn't play up to the contract level that they signed him to. It's not like he's not a good player. And when I was watching film on him, very technique sound. The plays that he did get beat on was where he got out of his back pedal too early, or he playing a receiver instead of replaying the ball, and just little stupid things, which allowed him to get beat on those plays. But other than that, he's a consistent guy. Can play him anywhere. He can play an inside, outside. He can still play this game, man.
Would he fit the system that Gannon?
Oh, absolutely.
Likes to
absolutely. Because he could play zone and he could play man to man. I think he's become even a better a zone corner. So he was just a shutdown, in man in your face corner. I think he's playing zone better than he's playing man right now.
Okay. All right. Well, look, it's going to be fascinating to see what they do, because they certainly don't have enough right now. That's for sure. So, guys, we get the full-blown schedule release on Thursday, which has become an event. It's literally a show now. I mean,
I got a show that night.
Yeah.
8:00. Yeah.
Right. Barry, right?
Yep.
Oh, by the way, you got a very special one tonight as well. You want to let folks know what's going on there?
Yes. At 6:30, I'm gonna have Ray Diddy. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be on the show, man. And it's his swan song for NBC Sports. So Birds Huddle 6 o'clock, 6 to 6:30. The entire show is going to be about Ray Diddy and what he's brought to NBC Sports. Which was Comcast. Which virtually YouTube started. So I mean it's going to be a good show.
Good.
I can't wait.
Looking forward to it. And he'll be with us on Thursday, everybody. So we'll have Ray Didinger at 1 o'clock. I talked to him today. He's excited, man. Like he's as you would expect. Well, we'll get all the Barry. You'll do it tonight. I don't want to give anything away, but it's going to be fascinating to watch him tonight with you. And I can't wait for us to just chop it up with him on Thursday and just kind of walk down. It'll be not like we'll certainly mix in, what he thinks about the Eagles. He's still going to be locked in on the Eagles, right? But we're also going to pay tribute, as you will tonight, Barry, to a guy who just unbelievable, man. And just what an unparalleled career. Really, in a lot of ways, man. He was that kind of player. That's
you can't replace him.
Yeah.
And I think it would be wrong for anybody to even try to replace it. Now you could bring somebody in to hold their own candle, hold their own spot, but you can't fill his spot. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Nobody can come in and be as knowledgeable as he is. To be, to be the type of player, the historian he is, and his knowledge and his breakdowns, man, it's unbelievable.
Legendary.
Yeah. And he's not a guy. Look, anybody, there is no replacing, and anybody who would try would be making a big mistake. So I think, the best thing is whatever role, just be you, man. Don't try and be him.
Right.
That's the only piece of advice I could give out to
it's gonna
anybody.
be tough. Yep.
Yeah, no, look, it's not. And one of the things we talked about early, and Keith Pompey is going to be joining us, and coming up in about 7 minutes. We'll talk to Keith from Miami. We got Sixers game 5. I did want to sneak this in, guys. Phillies win last night. And really,
you ain't got to sneak in.
No, but it's the first time I can remember in a while this season where they got from the jump. They jumped on Seattle offensively. They got really good starting pitcher from Ranger Suarez, and the bullpen shut it down. This was a complete team win. Everybody across the board did their job. You had the back-to-back home runs, Segura and Hoskins, and they just kept piling on. This is the way they need to play baseball, and they did. To their credit, they did it last night, coming off an awful, bad loss on Sunday. For sure.
The thing that keeps jumping out at me is that they had 17 hits. 17 hits in a game. We had talked about how the hitting starting to get better. Man, they went out there and had basically a practice session against Seattle pitching. And you look at some of the big names: Castellanos 3 for 4, Real Muto 2 for 5, Segura 2 for 4, Hoskins 3 for 5. Those 4 alone accounted for all 9 of the runs in that particular game, and that's what you need to see. Harper went 3 for 4, but didn't drive any runs in. Bohm went 2 for 5, didn't drive any runs in. But 2, 4, 6, 6 batters batting back to back had 2 to 3 hits up and down their lineup. If they can do that consistently, man, I mean, they took it to Scherzer. They got 10 hits off Scherzer. So if they can do that consistently, things are going to turn around. So yeah, but again, this is the Phillies, bro. I'm not holding my breath.
No, we're in show me mode, Gunner.
Talk to me in late June. Let's see where they are in late June.
No, look, no question. I'll be the first. I've been saying you got to get rolling here forever, and they have not. They let you down every time. Look, this is not a great Seattle team. So now is the time to take advantage of this. You know, because guess what? You're going to LA against the Dodgers. Then you get San Diego. Then you get the Dodgers again. Then you get Atlanta. Then you get the Mets. Then you get the Giants. Then you get the Angels. Then you get Milwaukee. This is who they have back to back here in series. So you better start taking care of the lesser teams. And by the way, the Phillies have been a lesser team. So I'm not that's not a knock on Seattle, but you got to beat these kind of teams. You got to take 2 out of 3 against these kind of squads. So for them tonight, and again, good job out of Suarez last night. You get Nola, who's had 3 straight really good starts, who goes tonight. So keep it rolling, Aaron Nola, and that's how you can win the series if you take the one tonight.
The only thing with Nola is he hasn't had a win since April 8th. And you look at his outing since then, he's had 2 no decisions and a loss.
Yep.
And he's pitched his last 2 games, easily should have won those games.
Really well. Not his fault.
My man pitched gems. And I mean ball movement, breaking pitches, everything you want from an Aaron Nola. Absolutely. He still didn't get the decision, man.
I know.
Man.
All right, let's step aside. Let's come back. Heath Pompey is going to be joining us from Miami. We'll get the latest on what's happening with the Heat, what adjustments they may make with the Sixers, health. There's some biggie out there as far as health goes for the Heat tonight. We'll give you an update on that. All kinds of stuff in store. Talking to Keith Pompey from the Philadelphia Inquirer when we get back. We are Sports Take. D. Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, JAKIB Media, YouTube Network. I want to tell you, my friends at Pro Action Restoration, if you have a home or you're a business owner and you experience the pain and inconvenience of water, fire, smoke, or mold damage to your property, you know how trying that can be. Pro Action's on call 24/7 to assist you. I went through this. I called them. They were right there. They cleaned up my parents' house. The crew was professional. They were, great price. You name it, very reasonable. Here's the good thing. They're licensed, they're bonded, they're fully insured. They serve the tri-state area, and they've been doing it for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company. They take care of fire, water, smoke, mold remediation, you name it. They can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760. That's 623-3760. Or email them at proactionrestoration.com.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98, visit us, IBEW98.org.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. Glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, 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 and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of stateside vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Sports Take. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis, JAKIB Media YouTube Network. Don't forget to hit that like button and tell a friend. All right, joining us right now as we anticipate and preview Game 5. Geez, we're only 5.5 hours away, but who's counting? For the Sixers and the Heat, series tied at 2. Keith Pompey from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Keith, good to see you, man, as always. Let's start with one of the big stories coming out of this. No Kyle Lowry again tonight for the Heat.
Yeah, that's a huge story. But first, I want to say I like that hat, man.
Thank you. I'm about to start rocking these.
There you go. There you go.
It's nice. Yeah, you know, Kyle's not going to play, and you know, you kind of feel bad for Kyle. But at the same time, I'll be honest with you. I feel like with his injury, with him out there, he's kind of like hampering his team a little bit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You can see the shots not there. He just doesn't have it, and I think you know, I hate to say it because I really like Kyle as a person, but with him not playing, I think that benefits the Miami Heat.
Yep. Hey Keith, I said
my secret weapon.
Yeah, I had said earlier that I thought that Lowry interfered with Tyler Hero in terms of his continuity, his minutes, and I think that messed up because they played much better without Lowry than they did with him back on the court.
You're exactly right. It messed up the minute. Even now, some of the spacing, like you know, Hiller was trying to go to a spot and Kyle was there. He couldn't get out of the way, and I felt like even Gabe Vincent, you know, he came off the bench. He wasn't in rhythm like he normally is. So I felt like yes, that you know, they're going to be a better team without him.
Let me ask you, Keith. I always look for the adjustments, and what a good coach Spoelstra is. You figure something's coming. And I don't, Lowry aside for a minute, do you think this is the night we start to see a little Duncan Robinson? The Heat haven't been able to shoot it well at all. Max Strus isn't giving them much on either end. I would think that Robinson gets a little bit of that time. Do you think we'll see him, or is he too much of a liability on defense? What's happening there?
I think we'll see him. You know, it's one of those things. I was actually shocked that we didn't see him in the last game. You know, there were times where even before the game, Doc thought that was the number one adjustment they were going to make. Yeah. And then you're looking in the second half and guys were just missing. And you look over at their bench and you see Duncan just standing up there clapping. And like, you know, you're saying to yourself, well, how come y'all not throwing them in there just now?
Yeah.
You know, and I get the liability on defensive thing, but, you know, they've been shooting horribly from 3 these last couple games. And I think you need any type of lift that you can get.
You know, looking at, you know, me and Rob have been on Thibault for probably the last 2 or 3 days, but I mean, you look at his defense, you know, I mean, he's been, you know, 2 years ago, he was a defensive, you know, talking about he's like, you know, defensive player of the year type of candidate. Now I don't see the same thing. Has he become a liability to this team now? I mean, can he I don't see him stopping anybody. Can he stop Hero? Can he stop, you know, Butler? I mean, where does this place, man? He's getting a lot of minutes. You know, what is his place for this team right now?
You know, that's a great question, but and I'm just going to put it this way, and I hate bringing up, you know, you playing in the league and stuff like that, but think about it, y'all. You get a pro athlete or you get an athlete to whereas, you know, you go out there and all of a sudden, you know, if you make a mistake, you're coming out. Yep. And I think he's playing timid right now. I think he's not being aggressive as he used to. Because if he gambles a little too much, and Doc is like, oh, short leash. If he misses a shot, short leash. So I think he's playing timid. And I do think that he needs to get, you know, his confidence up because right now is a mental thing, you know, because in the past, you would think that smaller guards, he tend to like the reason why he was able to get Steph Curry, he shut him down. he was able to shut down a couple other guys because they were smaller guards. Now, Duncan Robinson is a little bit, he has some length to him, but he's not big. So you still expect him to shut this guy down. But I think he's playing timid. He's being passive. He's not making, not getting in the passing lanes like he normally used to. He's not like he's just playing too safe. And Matisse Thybulle playing safe isn't really doing anything for you, because if you guys know, a lot of his stuff that he gets he typically gets beat, but then he walks the guy down. He'll strip him. He'll block his shot. But as far as him just being there and playing timid, that's not going to work. So yeah, there has been a regression, but I also think he's lacked a lot of confidence, and he's scared to make a mistake.
Hey, Keith, from your perspective, how has Joel handled wearing that mask? I mean, you see him fidgeting with that thing, all the time, which is understandable. You sweat up under there and things like that. How do you think he's handled that scenario?
To be honest with you, he's handled it better than I thought. Okay. Because remember, the first time, like a lot of people forget, people say the first time he says, I'm gonna have it on for 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. Well, by the fourth game of the next series, he like tossed it. You know what I mean? So, I think for him, like I know everyone says that everything is great, but whenever he comes into the media room and he sees the bright lights, he's always like squinting a little bit, right? Yeah. So that tells me that he's like muscling, or not muscling, but he's like battling through something. And he's probably quite not there right now. But I think he's doing well with it. I think, though, for him, it's one of those things where he'll have to get hit a couple times in order for him to like realize, yes, this thing is protecting me, and I can keep, going on instead of always like fidgeting with it and things like that.
Well, looking at what he's done these past 2 games, now they're going to Miami. He has a major chip on his shoulder because they're saying that he didn't win the MVP. What Embiid are you going to see out there tonight, as opposed to what you've seen in these playoffs?
That's a tough question, and I get it. And because here's my thing: like I always think, this is me, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think that when you start, like when people start talking, oh, he can get the MVP award, he's going to tear it up. I think that's a little bit of overhype. Like these dudes are professional athletes; they come to play or they don't, right? I do think that it's going to be different. I think that if the crowd gets on him, the Joel that we know now, he feeds off of that. So he's going to be better suited. But the question mark is like, yeah, even if he plays well, like to me, guys like Danny Green and George Niang, if they can't make the shots, then all of a sudden we're going to have a problem. And something else we got to pay attention to is, yes, I know Joel is going to be fired up, whatever. But to me, if we get a Joel Embiid that's dominant in the first quarter, extremely dominant, but he doesn't move the ball, that's not helping the Sixers. So I think that he has to play within himself, do what he has to do, but also try to get others involved so he can be able to take over in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Keith, stay with that, because they did a really good job in the first quarter getting him deep in the paint and feeding him. I thought Harden made some phenomenal entry passes to him, and it was gold for them. But the Heat made some adjustments. I thought Adebayo did a really good job covering Embiid, especially in the fourth, but really in the second half. What adjustments do you think Doc counters with to try to still get Joel some easy looks tonight?
I think the one thing they need to do is they need to stop throwing that pass up that Harden was doing, like the little jump ball. That was, I get it, but it just wasn't working. I think that, I think they're probably going to do some more pick and rolls, as opposed to, I know he was down on the block, and which is good, but I think with him rolling, that's going to open things up for a lot of other different options. Harden could go to him, he can go outside, and I think that's going to get Bam in more foul trouble than anything else, right?
Yeah.
That and then also, maybe some actions like near the elbow or something like that. But I honestly think that yes, he was stationed down there, but if you notice, they had guys basically leaving their man going over to the side, and it was like that looked like an easy pass became extremely tough.
Do you think Harden has refound himself, or is it a wait and see?
It's a wait and see, man. Yeah. Like, I mean, and nothing against him, but there was a couple times that, you look at him and he would shoot the ball and when he shoots, everyone's quiet now. They don't know, they're like waiting for it. If it goes in, they go, if it doesn't, they're like, oh. So like a couple times he shot the ball and he looked quiet. And so I just need to see, more. A couple more games.
That's why it's so hard to predict the rest of the series, Keith. I mean, it's down to 3. Harden goes nuts, but are you going to get some semblance of that? You touched on the other thing that I don't know about. Is Danny Green going to show up on the road? Is George Niang going to show up on the road? Those guys played huge roles in games 3 and 4.
Exactly. And that's the key. As much as, you think about it, like, yes, Joel did give the team a lift. He gave them a lift. But they shot 14 for 64 from 3 in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, 14 for 64. So, like, you say to yourself, like, if these 2 guys could come and do what they have to do, especially Danny Green, you feel like they have a chance. They'll have a legitimate chance of winning this thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, Keith, what's the crowd like there down in Miami, man? Because when we watch it on TV, it's like I see an awful lot of empty seats, man.
It's funny. Let me tell y'all this about this crowd, though. It's funny. You do see a lot of empty seats. Yeah. But, like, if you're trying to get a grub or get something to drink at the concourse, forget about it. It's like everybody's in the concourse chilling. It's like, yo, I'm telling you, I don't know if they got buy one, get one free on the drink.
I doubt it.
You know how, like, you go to a game, you're a little kid, and your mom was like, nah, listen, we're going to get stuff beforehand. Like, we're not paying those prices. Man, everyone here is like, it's packed. It's just packed on the concourse. And then, like, right when they do the game, then they all come down, then they leave again. It's different. It's different.
You know what it is? It's a fashion show. They're all out there staring at each other. Nobody's getting a hot dog. They're all like, look at what he's wearing. Look at what she's wearing.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really what it is.
That's true. Even like Dwayne Wade and his wife, like, it was like halftime. So they left. And then so I'm like, okay, they went home. They did their obligatory, we're seated here showing support. So there's like midway through the 3rd quarter and they come waltzing back out. I'm like, dang, even D Wade is like late.
But how weird is that situation, Keith? He's a part owner of the Jazz. And when they were still playing, he's there at half court. And now he's, and I get it. He's forever synonymous with the Heat. But if I'm the Jazz, I'm kind of like, yo, dude, maybe a lower profile here. You are part of our ownership.
It's true, because he had on, because they have it white out. So he even had on a white shirt. His wife had on the white outfit. Yeah, I guess they looking at the Miami Heat owners talking about what y'all going to do. You're going to buy us out. But, yeah, it's crazy. But it's funny here, though. Like, what they do is when they have, like, the nail in the coffin type of shot where they know the team isn't going to come back, it turns into, like, a little fiesta in here, man. They start playing Latin music, flags and everything, and everyone's dancing and singing. It's different, man. But, like, again, if you see people running to their seats to do that when they hear the music.
Wow. Hey, Keith, give me your top 3 things that you will be looking for in tonight's game from Doc Rivers and these Sixers.
The top thing is, first of all, I need to see Danny Green and George Niang shoot the ball well and make shots, right?
Okay.
Another thing is I got to see how they're going to free up Tyrese Maxey, because if you notice, it's been certain spots where he gets off, but in other spots he doesn't. And then the third thing, I want to see how they utilize James Harden, or how he utilizes himself. Like, to me, unfortunately, with James we see a lot of, James driving the lane, but it doesn't look like he's trying to attempt the bad. It looks more he's focused on getting fouled and then going in. I want to see how they utilize him. Is he going to stay aggressive throughout the game? Is he going to be more of a facilitator? I just want to see. Or when the game is on the line, like last game, is he going to start hitting threes? But to me, it's all about Maxey. I mean, because I figured Joel's going to be Joel, right?
Yep.
To me, it's all about Maxey. It's all about Danny Green and George. And then thirdly, what Harden is going to do.
Let me add one. How about rebounding, Keith? Because that's been a major issue here, giving them second chances. I mean, the whole series, it feels like.
Yeah, that's true. Of rebounding and turnovers, correct?
Yeah.
Right. They have to have better. Well, and yeah, the rebounding issue is weird. Like after game 3, you thought, okay, they got it. And then game 4, you saw a lot of things. It's weird. I mean, I think a lot of it is when you look at, unfortunately, you look at a guy like George Niang. You know, he's known as a big who can shoot. You know, he's that dude that you go to the park. That's my man. You know, we're like, yo, can he play? That's him, right? So then you have Tobias, who's like a power forward, but he's actually 6'7", listed as 6'9". They're not really bangers, you know. So that's the problem. Joel doesn't get the rebound. You don't.
Yeah,
he's not getting. You know, it's not what we had.
My guy on the stream, man, they on you, man. John Dickerson. He said, Keith, you had a full head of hair when Ben Simmons was here.
oh, come on, man.
Ben made you lose everything, huh, man? Ben's killing everybody, bro. He did send a lot of people's souls, man, to die, bro. But just look at it defensively. How in the heck do we stop Butler, man? I mean, he's gonna average 33 points a game for the entire series, every game. How can we stop that, man? Stop the bleeding.
But see, you know what? The thing is, I'm not really that concerned. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm really not that concerned about the whole Butler thing scoring a lot of points. It looks good, but the difference is Butler's a different type of player. So when Butler is scoring, when Butler's getting there and he's scoring all those points, it's kind of sort of like other guys aren't getting the vibe. You look
yeah. Okay,
I saying? Yep. And he's like an old school type of player where he does not like shooting threes. I'm gonna tell you this. This is, people may forget this, but the time when they lost to the Toronto Raptors, that one series, the first game, they lost the first game of the series, the opening round, to the Brooklyn Nets. Butler had 30-something points. Everyone else was like, Tobias and JJ were struggling. They were upset because they didn't get the ball. After that, Butler became a distributor, and they became a completely different team. When I look at this Miami Heat team, the first 2 games, it was extremely balanced. Bam was getting touches. Tyler Hero was leading them in scoring. Jimmy had a quality game. He wasn't as dominant, and they beat the Sixers with balance. I think with Butler is once he gets on that roll, sometimes you're like, yeah, it's one of those things where, yes, he's a great player, but somebody had to get the points. And you just have to take your hat off to him, because what he does is he stopped looking for everyone else. It becomes a 1-on-5 type of game. So I'm not concerned about his points.
Okay, Keith, Barrett brought it up, and when naturally in Philadelphia, we've been talking about it yesterday and today, the MVP thing. What's your sense of it? I mean, do you? I know Doc expanded on it today and talked about it today, and how, while giving Jokic his props, obviously, but saying that Joel is that guy. What's your sense around the team? Like, are his teammates kind of ticked off? Is it not that big a deal? Is this more of a media thing and a fan thing? Is the team more focused on the bigger picture, which is winning this game tonight? But how affected are they by it?
I think they all had a sense weeks ago that he wasn't going to get it.
Okay.
I think they did. So I think they kept calling him the MVP. He's the MVP. But in a way, they kind of knew that he wasn't going to get it. I do think that they hope that this is going to motivate him more, though, to go out there and show people what he could do. But the sense that I got, and this was a weeks ago, it's one of those things where he doesn't want to politic for it. But whenever you get in a conversation with him and other people, and you realize what voters were, how they were voting, and then, there's 2 ways to look at it. It's like, okay, they're getting caught up in the analytics, and some of them just probably don't like Joel. And that's what people have been telling me.
I think that's the case.
Yeah. I think it is, because if you notice, you remember when they had the bubble, and then like the first 2 games, Joel was like crushing everyone. Then he got injured the next game, and then he was playing so-so, but his first 2 games were like really great. He didn't even make the all bubble team. And that year he didn't make like all NBA or anything. And I think that, there are certain people who get turned off by him. And then there are some people who look at Joker and they look at him as the anti-Joel. And instead of like voting the way and instead of taking personalities out of it, I felt like there were some people who liked Joker better as a person than they did Joel. And then there were some people who got swept up in statistics as opposed to watching the games, like Doc said. And so I could see that. I can see that.
That's interesting. So what's your sense here, Keith? We mentioned 3-game series, 2 of them potentially at Miami. Sixers got a lot of mojo back here. How do you think it goes? Do you think they get out of this thing?
Oh, man, this is a tough one. Like, I think if they win tonight, they'll win the series. If not, it could come down to a tough game 7. This one is really hard because of how bad the road teams have looked. Now again, you have Joel here, but my concern isn't Joel. Like I keep saying it over and over again, is Danny Green and George Niang. Those are the 2 guys I'm the most concerned about.
Hey, Keith, are you surprised at how physical the refs are allowing these teams to play, especially the Eastern Conference compared to the West?
Yeah, I am. I am. And it's funny, they're letting them, but then the crazy part is the stuff that you think shouldn't be a flagrant is a flagrant.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah.
That was some BS when Giannis, what's his name? Giannis got dunked on and
Horford. I think it was Horford.
Horford got the got the penalty. Come on, man. He just went up strong, dunked on him, and he was a casualty award. That's all.
Hey man, he hit him in the face, man. You saw
here we go.
The face, man.
Here we go.
Yeah, tell him, Keith. You saw it. Keith saw it.
But why y'all? But aren't y'all like Bucks fans? Or didn't y'all used to be Bucks?
Whoa! Not y'all.
I never.
One guy.
Hey, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, brother. I'm gonna bleed it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna bleed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just him, Keith. Just him. Okay. He can have that mantra. That's for
You don't touch Giannis, man. You don't touch him.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Unbelievable.
He's like Teflon Don, baby. You don't touch him.
That's what the Sixers are playing next. What you gonna do then?
Oh, there you go.
That's the easy answer. I got the easy answer. It's like when people always ask me when Michael Barkan and Angelo dined me out years ago that I was from Milwaukee and I was a Packers fan, and all of a sudden people started asking me, well, when Green Bay plays the Eagles, who are you rooting for? My answer was easy: whichever team's wearing green. Okay, number 1. Number 2. So if the Sixers play the Bucks, people say, man, Diga, who you rooting for? I can't lose either way. That's my answer. I can't lose.
That's a good answer.
Right. I'm not going to publicly tell you how I'm feeling so you can use it against.
I think we all know.
No. Look, if the Sixers hold up. If the Sixers win, great for Philadelphia. I'm watching from start to finish. I've been here 25 years. I got some investment in the Sixers. I remember, Rob, before I was designated just the football, I was covering Phillies. I was covering Sixers. I was covering the Allen Iverson era and all that stuff.
I remember those days.
I'm invested here. So I can't lose either way. Hey, my Bucks won the championship last year.
Hey, Keith,
he's winning this year. More power to him.
He's running for political office too. We forgot to tell you that.
And if you vote for me, I promise you free ribs for everybody.
We got to deal with, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, but a quick question, man. Before we get out of here, looking at defensively, man, and how they're adjusting to Embiid and where they're sagging on Embiid, man. How does he not get frustrated and take upon his shoulders and still go out there and win the series for him? How is he going to do it?
That's a great question because his frustration leads to him starting to become the 3-point shooter. You know what I mean? And trying to do it too much. I think that it's weird because you don't really have answers for that. And what I mean is because a lot of his frustration is predicated on guys not making shots. And it's not that he's mad at the teammates, but if Danny Green, and I keep getting back to it, but if Danny Green and George Niang can make some shots, and then all of a sudden teams are going to stop triple teaming him. And then they're going to go outside. And then all of a sudden that defense, that wall that they have, all those guys swarming, all of a sudden it's just going to be 2, and he's just going to dominate the 2. So again, it's like, worst case scenario is if Danny Green and George Niang fail to make shots, then people in Philadelphia are going to start complaining because they're going to say Joel spent too much time in the perimeter, because that's what he's going to do, and he's going to start hoisting them. So that's what I'm saying. You're saying, how do you not get frustrated? Because, it's like you got to stick with it, turn around, but at the same time, they're going to keep swiping at the hand. He's going to turn the ball over.
Yep.
So you got to stick with it, but I don't know if he will.
Keith, we appreciate it, man. It's always fun catching up with you. Have fun. Enjoy yourself down there, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you when you get back. Thanks, Keith.
All right, thanks for having me,
Hey,
fellas.
Keith,
Appreciate it.
I just want to apologize that they made you come on the show when you could be outside working on your tan in South Florida right now. But I just want to apologize.
Hey, look, I was mad at the hotel because they gave me a nice upgrade, right? And I said, so y'all always give me an upgrade, like when I get in the night before and then leave.
And you're out. Yeah.
Man, enjoy it.
Thank you, Keith.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Pleasure. That's Keith Pompey from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Check out his work. Does an unbelievable job covering the Sixers. That's for sure. All right, let's step aside, guys. When we come back, we'll dig a little bit deeper into a couple things. We got a little triple header action on Christmas Day, NFL-wise. We'll talk about that. We'll get into some of the other series that we just mentioned in the NBA. Little Mike Tyson news as well that we will dive into. All kinds of stuff in store. Certainly some more Sixers, Eagles, Phillies, all on the docket. D-Gun, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, Sports Take, JAKIB Media, YouTube Network.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98, visit us, IBEW98.org.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit. Glass is for cocktails, right?
It's for this, 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 and that.
Is the length of the glass equal to your...
You betcha.
But is it made out of...
Glass?
Okay, but is the rip...
Smooth?
Will you stop doing...
That?
I'm the professional here.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. All from the company that's highly awarded. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and deliciously tasting vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Hi, welcome back. No music. We don't need music, Derek. It ain't happening. We ain't sweating it. And I like that lid. I think it worked.
Get to the back. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at the colors. The colors are like a pinkish red with brown, and I'm thinking I like to coordinate colors. I have a lot of different colors, but this is difficult, man. I got to figure out how am I gonna coordinate this one, man. I don't know. Obviously, it's got to be mostly solids. I can't put plaids and checks with this, man.
100%. Yeah, I would think. So, I didn't know. I can't tell that. I couldn't tell if it was brown or kind of gray or black.
No, it's like a brown with pink and red in it, and I have like 5 or 6 different Kangos. I have black, I have brown, I have gray, but they're all solid colors. So when Joe gave me this one, I said, okay, and he's legit. He has over 750 Kango.
That is wild. That's a big number.
I thought he was joking. I thought
that's a big number. I guess something red, some kind of red, like a little bit of a like faded red would look good with that, or pink would look good with that. But yeah, you want to be careful. You don't want to go anything really too bright. Yeah, solid brown would look good with that too. Yeah, I think any of those could work. But I like the lid. I like that lid.
I do too. But I love it. But I just got to figure out how am I gonna dress it up. You see, something like this, you have to do it justice because it's so different.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So
I agree.
Man, Joey B on you. He said, Rob looks like the paper boy from the 50s. Get
extra. Yeah. So that's a good one, Joe. If you're wondering, Barrett had to take off. He had some responsibilities at NBC Sports Philadelphia. So we got you for the final segment of the program. It happens from time to time. All right. So remember we talked about this. I believe it was about 2 weeks ago on the show, Derek. Mike Tyson got into it on a plane with some knucklehead who was, just wouldn't leave him alone. And Tyson gave him a couple shots. Here's in my opinion, the good news. He will not be charged in connection with the incident. They have reviewed it. Went through everything, went through all the reports and all that. And they said, quote, our decision is that we will not file charges against Mr. Tyson based on circumstances surrounding the confrontation. These include the conduct of the victim leading up to the incident, the interaction between Mr. Tyson and the victim, as well as request of both the victim and Mr. Tyson. No charges will be filed. Good job by everybody here. So some common sense for once.
See, the thing that bothers me is when you look at the video, the dude's obviously trying to make a name for himself.
He's an instigator.
Tyson's sitting there minding his own business. From what we've read, he was very gracious to the guy initially, and the guy kept egging him on until he got his butt kicked. Now you see scenarios like this and people looking for lawsuits, trying to make some money out of the deal. And unfortunately, sometimes they actually win big settlements out of this. But I'm glad there were enough witnesses around that backed up Tyson's story that, hey, look, Tyson didn't provoke this guy. This guy was all over Tyson and wouldn't stop. I don't know. And I don't know if the guy was trying to get more hits on his TikTok page or, YouTube channel, whatever. But I mean, how stupid can you be, man? You're lucky you didn't get your face knocked out by Mike Tyson, because, Mike Tyson, he still might have flashbacks to when he was heavyweight.
I wouldn't mess with it. I wouldn't get in. Look, I'm with you. And I'm glad in reading that the guy also doesn't want charges pressed. That would lead me to believe at least there's not going to be some kind of civil suit. Who knows? But that would lead me to think that may be the case, because the guy could have been just looking for a money grab too.
Exactly, man. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why when we talk about modern technology, everything is recorded now, man. You see all these incidents all over social media. Confrontations, dudes getting out of cars, fighting because they bumped into each other. Stupid stuff in stores like Walmart, people losing their minds, swinging on people. Now everybody's pulling out their phones, recording this stuff. And in a lot of ways, it's a good thing because the person who's actually the victim now has verification that they didn't start this mess. But before that, it was your word against mine. And either the courts would throw it out of court, or if the one who instigated it had a solid enough lie to tell, they would end up winning money, man, which wasn't fair. So I'm just glad it worked out, in Mike's favor, man. And Mike ain't looking for this dude right now trying to take his heart out. So
yeah, or there's no tigers involved,
right,
lions or whatever. All right, so the NFL on Christmas Day, and I shame on me. Christmas fall on a Saturday or Sunday. I'm trying to remember where.
Oh, this year?
Yeah, last.
You mean just this past year?
No,
this
when
year?
will it? When will it?
Oh, this year Christmas falls on a Sunday.
Okay, so it makes sense. They're not going to be as many games as usual, but what we're hearing is there's going to be a triple header, and at least one of the games involved in this is the Broncos and the Rams. That's going to be at least one of them. That's interesting because it's obviously the Super Bowl champs, but the Broncos with Russell Wilson. I find that to be an interesting game.
I do too. I can't wait to see that game. You said it's the Broncos against the Rams,
right?
Man, that's going to be a shootout, man.
Yeah.
You look at the weapons Russell Wilson has at his disposal in Denver now.
Oh.
He's never had a collection of receivers like that. Yeah, he had Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf in Seattle, but the collection of young, gazelles he has in Denver, and of course, obviously, it will all depend on whether or not these guys are healthy because people are going to fall by the wayside. But yeah, that's a great Christmas Day matchup, man. Have a family get together, open your presents, have a good meal, get ready to settle in. But I'm more curious about what are they going to do with the rest of the schedule that week?
I'll give it to you. Yeah,
okay.
I have it. All right. So that would be, it's going to be week 6. This is going to be week 16, by the way.
Okay.
So
all right.
The way it falls is Thursday night. They'll have its regular Thursday night game as usual.
Okay.
There's 11 games on Saturday, which is Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Including the night game on the NFL Network on Saturday. And then Christmas Day is a triple header. They'll include that game. We haven't found out what the other two matchups are right now. So you're going to get Thursday, 11 games, and then 3 games, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve games. You know what? That means a lot of men and women are going to have to make business decisions because, as you know, a lot of people, for whatever reason, wait until Christmas Eve to shop, and they're scrambling through all these stores trying to find these last-minute gifts. And a lot of times, especially the last couple of years, because supplier chains have been shut down or they don't have enough people to deliver the goods, a lot of people are going to have to be scrambling. So do I watch football, especially if my team's playing, or do I go out and try to find that special someone a gift at the last minute?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a lot of those stories out there. But me, Rob, I'm gonna get my stuff done early. My wife does most of the shopping anyway for the kids and the grandkids. So
same.
Yeah, I'm good there. I just got to shop for her, but I got to settle in. The only problem is Christmas Eve, and I know because we always have big family get together.
That's the problem.
I got to help my wife do all this prep stuff, man. And my wife is a fabulous cook, but when she's done with the kitchen, man, it looks like the third World War in my kitchen, man. And washing all these pots and pans and stuff. I hate doing dishes to begin with. You can only put so much in a dishwasher.
Oh, I know. Trust me.
And then all of a sudden you got to hand wash everything else. Man. So I'm not looking forward to that, dude.
Well, the problem is, and it sounds like you have everybody at your place, which is great.
Yeah.
But the problem too is if you're running around Christmas Eve night from relative to relative, which a lot of folks are, or you're going to visit family, whatever, if you're en route, I don't know. That's the problem with that being the main day for all these games, man. Yeah.
Oh, what about the people who travel Christmas Eve? They like to travel, whether it's by plane, train, automobile, whatever. A lot of people travel Christmas Eve.
I know.
It's like I'm adjusting my plans significantly. I think it's easier too because Christmas is one of those rare Christmases and Christmas Eve that fall on a Saturday, Sunday. So it's going to be a lot easier for people to get out like, that Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday to get to wherever they're going. But man, a lot of people, man, they like that Christmas Eve, get there Christmas Eve, open the presents that night, have some hot chocolate, some hot cider, Christmas Eve and all that. And man, look, I'm telling family in May, if I'm traveling, which I don't, but if I'm traveling, we are adjusting our plans for 2022.
Amen. So that's going to be interesting to see the way that shakes out. So NBA wise, I know you were all over this and we talked about it with Keith.
Yeah.
But man, the Celtics last night in Milwaukee.
Oh,
that looked like it was over, man. And they came back and won that. And now all of a sudden that's 2-2. That's 2-2 going back to Boston, man.
With Al Horford shooting threes like he's a point guard, he had 30 points. Milwaukee couldn't stop. Did we ever see that Al Horford in Philadelphia?
No.
I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong. Did we?
No, you didn't. You didn't even see a shell of that guy. I mean, he was. Gunner, he was done. He looked like the way Harden looked before game 4, right? He looked cooked. And, he ends up, they unload him. He's in Oklahoma City for a year. They put him on ice. All of a sudden, he goes back there.
Yeah.
And it's like the fountain of youth. He had 30 and 8 rebounds. Gunner, he shot 11 of 14 from the floor and 5 of 7 from 3. He was spectacular. in that game last night.
And not only that, but after game 2, the Bucks did a great job of shutting down Jason Tatum. You know, they blanketed him. He couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he gets hot in the fourth quarter last night, and it's lights out. The Bucks can't hit the broadside of a barn going down, down the stretch, and, they let him off the hook. And so I think we could have 2 7-game series here, between the Bucks and the Celtics and the Sixers. And whoever survives that, whoever comes out of both series is going to be beat up, man, because as we talked to Keith Pompey about, I'm impressed how the refs are letting these teams play physical, man. A lot more physical than we're accustomed to seeing in playoff basketball. And I think they're playing. The East is allowed to play more physical than the West.
It feels.
If you look at the West, you look at the West, they're more finesse, man. They're running up and down the court shooting. Everybody's trying to play like Golden State, Phoenix, run up and down the court and shoot. And if you look at the game, the Suns, Memphis, and Golden State, and that's the way the series is falling out, man. So 2 different styles of play. So, but whoever survives in the East, man, is going to have their medical benefits updated after this.
Yeah. So the game last night, and we talked about it yesterday. Unfortunately, John Morant couldn't play in that game. And to Memphis's credit, they hung with them. I mean, they hung in there.
I thought Memphis had him. I honestly thought they had him.
I did too. Yeah, I did too. It was a good late sports night last night. Between that and the Phillies, I'm just kind of popping back and forth last night. But yeah, so Golden State does end up winning the game, and they're up 3-1. That looks like a wrap. That looks like that's probably over.
If Morant can't play, they're done. I mean, they gave it their best shot. I mean, the fact that they stayed within 3 points, well, they had them down a stretch and then made some turnovers.
Right.
But the fact that they were there at the end, because yesterday going into that game, we were talking about we expected Golden State to blow them out, without no Morant. And I tell you what, Memphis gave it their best shot. They had them on the ropes, couldn't finish them off. So I agree. I think they're done.
Yeah, to their credit, they have played well all year without Ja, and they hung in there last night, that's for sure. So the game 5 tonight, very similar series, I guess, to the Sixers in a sense, but Dallas, who's hanging with Phoenix big time. That one goes back to the desert tonight. I would expect Phoenix to win that game tonight.
Yes.
But that could go 7-2, man. I wouldn't surprise you one bit they go back to Dallas and win a game 6.
When I thought sure Phoenix would win that series in 5. But Dallas has shown a lot of moxie, man. They can bang on the boards with them. They can get out on the perimeter. They can run it. Mm-hmm. Dallas is really, really balling with this team, and I think it's going to come down to that last game, that 7th game. Yeah. And in that series, I'm not so sure the home court will be an advantage in that game, to be honest with you. I think Dallas has a shot, if it comes down to 7, to go into Phoenix and pull off an upset. Now, they're going to have to play a near perfect game in Phoenix, because when Phoenix is healthy, Phoenix is lethal, man. I'm sitting here thinking, I can't wait to see a Phoenix Golden State Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, me too.
But I think Dallas could upset that apple cart.
Yeah, my guess is Chris Paul comes back with a vengeance tonight with the way that last game, with fouling out, some of the stuff that happened with his family. I would expect you get peak Chris Paul tonight, which I think ultimately in the end, leads to a Phoenix win. I think he's going to play big.
How about Chris Paul, man? When you think about how long he's been in the league, how many playoff games he's played in, and never won a championship in his career.
Crazy.
And people like that, I mean, he's been a great ambassador for the game. His game is still up there. When you look at him play right now, he just turned 37, I believe it is.
Yeah.
He's got that elbow jumper in the paint that nobody can still stop. Those are the kind of guys you root for. You kind of want to see them get theirs. If your team is not there, then you want to kind of see a guy like him get there, man. I mean, because, it's funny. Not only do you want to see him win it, but I want to see the emotions that let go when he's standing there, especially on the court, and one of the networks grab him to talk about finally getting that ring, and just see the emotions run free, man, of what it took for him and the journey it took for him just to get to the pinnacle of his profession.
Yeah, I agree. And that's one of the things that I think is a bummer to an extent about, team sports, that guys get labeled. Like if Chris Paul doesn't end up winning a championship, it's always going to be, with him. It's always going to be attached to his name.
Yep.
And it's not his fault. It is not his fault, and that to me is, we do that a little bit too much. Like Marino. Oh, but he didn't win it. Jim Kelly, he didn't win it.
Yeah.
Or Barkley, he didn't win it.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, man. Those guys were great players. If they didn't win it, it's because they didn't have enough around them to win it.
You look at a guy like Brian Dawkins. for all he's meant to the game. Hall of Famer, never got to win that ring as a player, it just happens, with Dan Marino, Dan Marino's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game,
right?
Didn't get that ring,
100%.
It just happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, no question about it. So those games tonight, obviously the big one is the Sixers. What's your vibe tonight? And see, I really, and I'm not, copping out here. I think this is a really, really tough game to handicap. I think I'm going to say it, Derek. And by the way, the Sixers are 2.5 point underdogs. So it's a tight line.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, Miami's -2.5. But I'll lean towards the Sixers. But to me, they have got. There's two things that have to happen. They have to do a better job on the boards, and they've got to have their role players help. You can't just ask Embiid to carry this team on his back. It can't happen. They win those games 3 and 4 in large part, yes, obviously with him coming back, but because Danny Green started hitting shots and Niang started hitting shots.
The fact that Embiid is back, and then we knew it, has changed the way Miami attacks the paint. Adebayo is not just owning the paint the way he was the first 2 games. And when you look at him trying to shoot over Embiid, it alters his shot. He's not as effective. I love the way the 76ers, when they're hitting their threes, puts additional pressure on Miami to come back and try to match him. But you're right. Niang's got to shoot. Tobias has got to hit his outside shot. We got to get these guys. Maxi's got to have a big game. It can't all be put on Embiid's shoulders. Embiid's going to be Embiid no matter what. But the one thing I'll be watching closely is Miami's energy without Kyle Lowry in there, and how quickly Tyler Hero comes in and does what he does. If he comes in busting the cores like he did the first 2 games, it could be trouble for the 76ers because it changes their energy. It changes the dynamics of how they strategize and match up with the Sixers. And, of course, when he starts hitting, the Sixers are not going to be able to pack it in against Adebayo and pack it in down low. They're going to have to play the perimeter more honestly. So there's so many chess pieces, so many scenarios to talk about in this game. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't pick either team. To me, it's a pick 'em game.
Yeah, it's a stay-away game.
Yes, it's a stay-away type game.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see it. I just can't. I'm enjoying the basketball playoffs this year as much as I've ever enjoyed the playoffs because anything, except for the one series, basically it's over. Golden State and Memphis. That series is about over.
Yeah.
But the other 3 series are so intriguing, man, because they can go either way.
I'm
agree. Just enjoying it, bro.
No, I agree. It's been fun. It's been what the playoffs should be. It's been highly entertaining, that's for sure. And it's not. When you watch the other series, at least for me, it's a little bit different because you're more invested in the Bucks series. But it's kind of nice to just sit back and just enjoy watching these games. Last night was a lot of fun, that's for sure. So we talked a lot about that. Off the top of the show, we were discussing the Tom Brady thing. And if you didn't see, and he confirmed this and Fox confirmed it. So this isn't just reports, by the way, that once he retires, and again, he hasn't put any set date on it here because with him, who knows?
Yeah,
he will become the #1 analyst for Fox. They will team him with Kevin Burkhardt, and the report. This is reported, but I don't know anything's official on this. 10 years, $375 million. Here's a simpleton question that I have for you. Okay, let's just say after, I'll even give him year 2 because year 1 you're learning what you're doing. He's not that good at it. Like we're accustomed to him being great at everything.
Right.
You're on the hook for how much more money to this guy? For 8 more years?
I'm thinking about that, Rob, because when you looked at Tony Romo when he played, Tony Romo was very talkative, very insightful when he played. Whether you liked him or not, he always gave you insightful answers. Tom Brady came through the Bill Belichick school of don't tell him any more than you have to. And even when you listen to him talk since he's been down in Tampa, win, lose, or draw, he doesn't tell you anything more than he has to. So what made Fox think automatically that he's going to be this great analyst? There are some guys that can make the transition and make it well and become sometimes better analysts than they are athletes, i.e. Chris Collinsworth. Now, as much as a lot of people don't like Chris Collinsworth's style, I say he's great. He's entertaining. He's funny. He's energetic. And he's great at giving you insight, with the country twang that he has. But whether you like him or not, Chris Collinsworth, I think, is a better analyst than he was football player, and he was a pretty good football player. I just don't see right now Tom Brady being a better analyst than he was an athlete.
He's gonna have to come out of his shell. Shell's the wrong word, but he's gonna have to be more relatable, and he's gonna have to be he's not a real relatable guy, right now. To me, you know what I think it is, Derek, with the money they're throwing at him. Obviously, it's because he's him, but if you look at it from Fox's perspective, they were left at the altar by Buck and Aikman, right? Aikman claims they never even really made him an offer. So I don't even know if they were left at the altar or whatever. They were trying to push him. But that Al Michaels goes to Amazon, like we talked about a little bit earlier, which made a big splash. All kinds of changes. And I think Fox, right now, they don't have this sort of notoriety and the gigantic names that the others have. And they looked at this like, all right, we can lock this guy up before he even gets out. He's our property. There's no negotiation. It's done. And that's where you get that crazy figure at $375 million.
Yeah, but you know what? When you think about the best of the best, whether they are the play-by-play person or the analyst, nobody's come close to getting that kind of money right now. No. I mean, some of these guys make 8, 10, 12, 15 million. Nobody's getting 37 million. You could have got Tom Brady cheaper. You could have got him in the teens. You could have maybe even, if push comes to shove, in the low 20s. The fact that they're paying him, if this report is true, $37 million, I want to know what they're going to utilize him for other than play-by-play, being a color analyst. I mean, I know they want him to be an ambassador to the network, but what does that entail for $37 million, man?
I know.
Are you serious? It makes sense. Chills up my spine just thinking about it.
I would guess that he's got it in his deal that there's only so much of that ambassador stuff. Like I would think that when it's not football, he'll make an occasional appearance. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's going to be grinding it out, every week, a couple times a week, showing up on some rubber chicken circuit or something like that.
Goodwill tour, promoting Fox, our new package coming up. Yeah. You're right. Tom Brady is going to do what Tom Brady wants to do, no matter what the money is. I mean, it's a great name to have associated with your network. But again, I want to sit back and I want to try to be as objective as I can possibly be when I listen to him. But just based on what we've listened to Tom Brady over the last 20 years, I just don't see it, man. I mean, to me, Tom Brady's boring to listen to be honest with you. And you look at another guy, Troy Aikman, when he played.
Yeah.
Didn't say a whole lot.
Yeah.
But look at him as an analyst. I love Troy Aikman as an analyst.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Excuse
me. I'll give Aikman this. I know Eagles fans are just never going to accept them. I understand. I never, when I'm watching him call a Cowboys game, whether it's against the Eagles or whomever, I never feel like, he's rooting or it's home cooking or anything like that. Like my sense with Brady is he does call it down the middle, to his credit. I really do believe that. And he'll be critical. Like he's been very critical of Jerry Jones, of some of the decisions, over the years. I don't think he's a big McCarthy guy. So I will give him that. I'll give him his props that he does, I think, at least in my estimation, call it down the middle.
Through the years, we you see a lot of people on social media always chastising Aikman for being a Cowboys homer. But when I listen to a Cowboys game, and I'm listening closely, I think he's as fair as you can possibly be. He played for the organization. They made him a wealthy man, but he doesn't owe any loyalty to the organization other than maybe telling inside secrets. He's loyal to whoever his current employer is. And I think Aikman does a very good job of being critical when he has to be, being fair when he has to be when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys.
No doubt. And that's all. Yes, football's such it's such its own animal in the sense that, we're used to with basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever. In addition to radio, you do have your own TV broadcasters, people you get a comfort level with.
Right. Yep.
Football's different. Football's very, very different in that sense. And you are at the mercy. And if you, and we know, here in Philadelphia, the last, certainly the year before and last year, while they were better, not a great team, you end up getting like the DEFG team, which can be really sketchy, man. I mean, you're saying to yourself, how do these guys have gigs at the network level sometimes? Like it's hey, we have Aikman and Buck, it's great. You got more cameras and all that stuff, but you can tend to get some really bad broadcasting crews when you're not a great team.
I've always found it humorous that whether it's at the local media level or the national level, when athletes think they can automatically make the transition from playing the game to analyzing the game, and such is not always the case. And that's why you see a lot of times, especially studio shows, ESPN, Fox, you see guys who are there maybe 1 or 2 years and all of a sudden they're gone, because the network is smart enough to realize, hey, we appreciate it, but you're just not quite getting it. And we've seen that here in the Philadelphia market as well. Certain athletes who played for the Philadelphia teams thought they could make the transition into radio, TV, and all of a sudden, a year or two later, it's like, no, you're just not cutting it. And all of a sudden, here today, gone tomorrow. And I think when you look at the guys like the Barrett Brooks and other guys, they realize, hey, and the Brian Westbrooks, this is it's more involved than you think. There's more details to it. We have to do homework. When we sit in front of a teleprompter, you have to be able to be natural as well as read it articulately as well. And that's not easy, man. That takes months and months to get used to doing.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. So let's remind everybody, Derek, tomorrow, 12:15, Howie Roseman. 12:15, Howie Roseman. Tell a friend, lock in on that. 1:30, we're going to have Mark Jackson, NBC Sports Philadelphia, to recap what went down tonight with the Sixers and the Heat. And then on Thursday, we're going to have Ray Didinger. Ray announced his retirement on Sunday. So we'll do a sort of a, walk down memory lane and reminisce with Ray. But yeah, I mean, 2 monster days, Howie Roseman, Mark Jackson tomorrow. And then on Thursday, Ray Didinger. It's going to be a lot of fun, man.
And I'll throw one more at you. I just got confirmation on. We're going to have Brian Dawkins on this week, the Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins. We're still trying to figure out which day is better for him as he talks about he has his first big charity golf event coming up next Tuesday, Wednesday at Pin Oaks Golf Course out in Westchester. I'll be there. Seth Joyner will be there. A lot of former. You heard Bobby Taylor said he'll be there. Troy Vincent will be there. So Dawkins is going to talk about his impact, Brian Dawkins' Impact Foundation, the golf event, what his Impact Foundation does for kids in schools in the Philadelphia and Jacksonville, Florida area, his hometown. And of course, he's a big advocate of mental health. His story is well documented of the demons he struggled with as a player and continues to struggle with as a former player with depression and things like that. So yeah, we got a good week lined up, man. Pretty good week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So see you tomorrow at noon. Derek, great job. Thanks to Xander Krause, our producer. Howie Roseman, Mark Jackson tomorrow, Ray Didinger on Thursday. All right, don't go anywhere. Dan Cilio's got you for the next 3 hours, the National Football Show. Derek and I are back tomorrow with Barrett at noon. Everybody have a great rest of your Tuesday. Rob Ellis, D. Gunn, Sports Take, JAKIB Media YouTube Network.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98,